Last Rounds Baseball is on the air, and tonight we are bringing you the third game of the Climax series between the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks and the Orix Buffaloes from the Kisara Dome in Osaka, Japan. We'll be right back in a moment with all the action. Ohio gozaimasu, konnichiwa, konbanwa, wherever you're at in the world. Welcome to Last Rounds Baseball's live commentary of the DuPont Professional Baseball League. We are giving you the game between the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks and the Orix Buffaloes. The views and opinions are ours, and we're not affiliated with the NPB, the Pacific League, or their sponsors. It is going to be a game that is going to decide whether or not Fukuoka is going to be playing again tomorrow, or if their season is finished. This is an elimination game, as it is the third game of the set. And for us, we are going to give you first the starting lineups from the visitors from Fukuoka. It'll be leading off and playing second base, number 68, Masaki Momori. Batting second in left field is number 23, Yukio Shudo. Hitting third in right field is number 9, Yuki Yanagita. And the cleanup spot wearing number 54 is Alfredo Despagna. Hitting fifth and playing shortstop is number 6, Kenta Imamiya. Hitting sixth and in center field is number 36, Taisi Makihara. Batting seventh at first base is number 31, Tomoya Masaki. Hitting eighth at third base is number 99, Isamu Nomura. And batting ninth, the catcher, number 19, Takuya Kai. And they are going to be facing Daiki Chijima, who takes to the hill with a 9-3 record. He worked 125 innings this year, allowing 115 hits. He's given up 41 runs, 37 have been earned. He has walked 37 and struck out 92, and he's got an ERA of 2.66. So the lefty takes to the hill tonight for the Buffaloes, and that is their lineup for the Hawks. And now we'll give you the lineup for the home team from Osaka, the Orix Buffaloes. Leading off and in center field is number 1, Shuhei Fukuda. Hitting second and playing at third base is number 6, Yuma Mune. In the 3 spot and wearing number 67 is Kai Nakagawa. The cleanup spot and in left field is number 7, Masataka Yoshida. Hitting fifth at second base is number 5, Masahiro Nishino. Batting sixth is the designated hitter wearing number 99, Yataro Sugimoto. Hitting seventh at first base is number 44, Yuma Tongu. Batting eighth and doing the catching is number 2, Kenya Wakatsuki. And batting ninth and playing shortstop is number 24, Kataro Kobayashi. And they're going to face the ace of the Fukuoka staff. That is going to be Kodai Senga, who has an 11-6 record from the regular season. He worked 144 innings. He allowed 103 hits, 37 runs, 31 were earned. He walked 49 and struck out 156, and he had a wonderful ERA of 1.94. Well, those are your starting lineups, and obviously John Cardona has asked us in the chat who we think is going to win this game, and I think if you were asking me outright, I got to say the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks, and it is their ace, Kodai Senga. This could be his last game in a Hawks uniform, as he has publicly said that he's going to test the open market and maybe come to Major League Baseball, as he is going to be a player that is looking to be posted in this offseason. And so it is expected that that is what will possibly be happening. And John is in the house here. He says he's going to be rooting for him. No harm either way. Well, it is going to be a ball game that is an elimination game, as we mentioned. The way this series works is that there are 6 games in the Climax series. All of the 6 games are played in Osaka at the Kisara Dome. The reason for that is that the Buffaloes had the best season record, and by percentage points were ahead of the Fukuoka Ball Club. So they are hosting all 6 games. And when it's basically almost like a best of 7, where even though they've got 6 games to play, the Buffaloes already have 1 victory given to them to start the series. So they won the first game of the series. The second game of the series, they also won. And now it is game 3 tonight. If they win tonight, it will be all over. They'll be waiting for the winner of the Central League to be able to play in the championship. Well, Tajima is just completing his warm-up tosses. We'll be back in 30 seconds with the call. Appreciate you guys for listening in with us tonight. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody. Daiki Tajima has just completed his warm-up tosses, and we're about ready to get this one underway. It is going to be Masaki Momori, Yukio Shudo, and Yuki Yanagita to get things going here in the top of the first inning against the Orix Buffalo left-hander. As I mentioned the last couple of days, a little disappointed with the crowd in Osaka. The upper decks have been barren, and you'd think for a playoff series like this that be a lot more people in attendance, but not so much. So I'm curious to see tonight exactly how many there are in attendance tonight. So here comes the first pitch of the ball game as Tajima kicks and delivers. It is a fastball taken for a called strike, and we are underway in Osaka. So for Momori on the series, he is 1 for 8. He had a hit in last night's game, his first one of the series, and here comes the offering. It is a fastball swung on and missed. The count is now 0-2 to Momori. For Tajima, he has had a 9-3 record, as we mentioned at the top on the outset of the stream. He is a very tall and lanky lefty who kicks and delivers. There is a breaking ball swung on. This ball is going to be looped into right center field. It's going to get down, and it's going to be cut off by Fukuda, digging for second. It was Momori, and he's going to make it standing up. So a double to begin the ball game for Masaki Momori, and that is going to bring up the left fielder Yukio Shudo. Well, I have to say, it sort of has a bit of a similar type feel. As it was last night's ball game, Momori led off with a double, and he later came around to score on a fielder's choice by Alfredo de Spagna. So this is almost like I'm watching the replay of last night's ball game all over again. So Momori is the runner at second base. It'll be Yukio Shudo coming to the plate. Shudo in the series is 2 for 9. He's got no homers and an RBI, and he is right out of the gate squaring the bunt. And here comes the pitch. It is a fastball delivered. The bunt is down. Tajima had a look at third. He throws it to first, and he's throwing it away. The second baseman was not at the bag. That's going to allow the runner, Momori, to come in to score. It's going to be an error charged to the pitcher, but it really should go to the second baseman who wasn't at the bag in time, and that is going to put the Hawks out in front with a 1-0 lead. Some suspect fielding here by the Buffaloes to get things going in the early parts of this ball game. And that is what's going to happen here. That'll go down as an error on the pitcher, but really, realistically, that should have been a error on well, maybe not. I look at it again. He wasn't on the base, but the ball was thrown up high. It's still going to go as an error to the pitcher. I think possibly the official score might say sacrifice and E1, but we'll have to wait and see how they score that officially. We're putting it in an error in our books right there, and that's going to bring up Yuki Yanagita to the plate. And the first pitch to Yanagita is a fastball swung on and missed, and the count is 0-1. So just like that, it is a 1-0 ball game for Fukuoka. So no balls and 1 strike to Yanagita. Lefty versus the lefty matchup as he's ready to go. There's 3 left-handed hitters that start the ball game against the lefty Tajima, who kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses way outside. The count is now even at 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Yanagita in the series is 1 for 7. He's got no homers and 1 RBI. He's waiting here on the offering now from the lefty Tajima, who holds at the belt. He checks the runner at second base. And now he kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball that misses down and away. The count is now 2-1. Defensively for the Buffaloes tonight, from left to right across your YouTube channel, it is Masataka Yoshida in left. The center fielder is Shuhei Fukuda. The right fielder is Kai Nakagawa. We'll get you the infield in a moment here as Tajima is ready to deliver again to Yanagita. as he holds at the belt. And now he steps off. Around the horn from first to third, it is Yumatangu back in the lineup tonight. At second base, it is Masahiro Nishino, the shortstop. Is Kotaro Kobayashi, and the third baseman is Yuma Mune. The battery, of course, is Daiki Tajima and Kenya Wakatsuki. So here comes the 2-1 offering now to Yanagita, who kicks and delivers, does Tajima. It's a breaking ball that misses way outside, and the count is now 3-1. Looming on deck is the designated hitter, Alfredo Despania. So what do we anticipate tonight? Well, I anticipate, as our friend John Cardona had asked earlier on, I do think that Fukuoka is going to win this ball game, if you ask me at the outset. And I also think that I would have thought it would have been a low-scoring affair. And there's a fastball swung on it. It's tapped slowly back to the pitcher. And that is going to erase Yanagita on a ground out 1-3. It is going to advance Shuto over to third. That's going to put the runner at third with one gone, and it'll bring up Alfredo Despania. Well, for Despania in the series, he is 2 for 9. He's got no homers and an RBI. He did pick up a run batted in last night's ball game. Last night were the first runs that the Hawks had scored in the series. They had been shut out in game number 1. So the right-handed stick of Despania comes to the plate. The infield is in. The shortstop, Kobayashi, is the only one that may be a little bit behind the baseline, but I think he is creeping in too. So any opportunity at a ground ball in the infield, they want to be able to cut the runner off at the plate. So here comes the first offering to Despania. It's a fastball that misses down and in, and the count is 1-0. And has been the issue tonight for Tajima. A lot of his pitches have been missing to the glove side. He's been down and away to the lefties and down and in now to Despania. I wonder if he's a little bit amped up and if he's overthrowing a little bit. He maybe will settle down as he starts to get a little bit tired. So here comes the 1-0 pitch as the lefty kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that just misses inside. The count is now 2-0. It's pretty much the same lineup tonight for the Hawks. The only difference is there's been one change in each of the series. Tonight it's Isamu Nomura who gets the start at third base. Last night they had Richard in the lineup. And there's been a bit of a revolving door in that spot. There's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is 2-1. The home plate umpire, not sure what he was doing, really delayed to come up with that right hand. Not quite as bad as last night, but last night's umpire was same thing. He could blink for a moment, and then the next thing you know, he'd come up with the right hand, and the ball was already back in the pitcher's hand. So here comes the 2-1 pitch as he kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is now 3-1 to Despania. So the runner at third is Shuto. There's one gone here and already a run on the board for the Hawks. Despania digging in with 3 balls and 1 strike on him. As Tajima checks the runner over at third. And he works at the belt. And now he kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball swung on. This is going to be looped over the head of the second baseman into center field for a base hit. It's an RBI single for Despania. Now that's going to help because the infield was drawn in. If the infield was in normal position and normal depth, that ball is probably caught. Despania would have been retired and Shuto would not have scored. This was the argument I made last night, and I was saying that sometimes early in the ball game, a lot of North American coaches don't like to bring the infield in because unless they figure that it's going to be a 1-0 game, you don't want to create the big inning. Well, now there's a crooked number on the board here for the Hawks. That's going to bring up the shortstop, Kenta Emamiya. We got Big D in the house. We appreciate you for popping in, Big D. And there you've got the trainer out to look at Alfredo Despania. Despania is doubled over there looking at his knee. I wonder if he's tweaked something. Manager Fujimoto is looking at the depth chart and considering the options of who they might want to put in for him into that designated hitter spot. But he says he's okay, but it looks like he's favoring his left leg in particular. So not only the trainer, the interpreter, we're getting a look at it. He sort of looked like he was grasping for his hamstring as he ran down the line. And when they came out, they were looking at more of his quad and in the kneecap area. So we'll have to keep an eye on Despania to see how he is going to hold out here. So the runner at first is Despania. Imamiya steps to the plate. For Imamiya on the series, he is 0 for 4. He has struck out all 4 of those times. He also has a couple of walks. And there's the first pitch fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Imamiya had himself a fine season this year. He had done really well in the regular season, hit just shy of 300. The slick fielding shortstop from Fukuoka waits on the offering here from Tajima, who kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into deep right field. Moving back underneath it in front of the warning track is Nakagawa. He makes the catch, and that is going to retire Imamiya for out number 2. So 2 away here, and that's going to leave it all up to the center fielder, Taisi Makihara. Well, for Makihara, he is 2 for 8 on the series. Yet another left-handed hitter in the lineup. The one thing I find interesting, too, is that they've got the 2 right-handed sticks back-to-back. They got the lefties at the top of the order, and they had them bunched together. We do see Takuya Kai at the bottom part. I have to say I have to look up to see what Namara is, but we'll see him when he comes to bat. And here's the first offering from Tajima. It's a breaking ball swung on. It is popped up into shallow left field. Coming over underneath it is Masataka Yoshida, who makes the catch. And that is going to do it here for the 3rd out of the inning. Well, they got some runs in the inning, did the Hawks. They had 2 runs in the inning on the benefit of 2 hits. There was 1 error, and there was 1 runner left aboard. We're now through a half inning. The Hawks have a 2-0 lead over the Buffaloes as they're coming to bat. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back just a few minutes after this. All the action in the bottom of the 1st inning. Thanks for being here with us tonight. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the bottom of the 1st inning, and that means it's going to be Shuhei Fukuda, Yuma Mune, and Kai Nakagawa to come to bat to face the right-hander Kodai Senga, who is making his start this evening, while Senga has publicly announced that he wants to and has full intentions to go to Major League Baseball next year. He is looking to be posted. We'll see what happens. The posting is, if I remember correctly, from November 1st to December 15th, they'll be posted to Major League Baseball. And then there is a period in which the teams can make offers on the players. And it's changed a little bit, the timing of it. Certainly with the COVID years from last year, it has changed, and the year before. So I'll be interested to see how that shapes up for any of the Japanese players that are looking to come over to North America. Well, here is Senga ready to face the hitter Shuhei Fukuda, who waits on the first offering. It's a fastball swung on. It is grounded on a couple of hops to Imamiya. He fields it. He fires to first, and he's able to retire Fukuda. 1 pitch and 1 away here in the 1st inning, and that'll bring up the 3rd baseman, Yuma Mune. Well, for Mune on the season, or on the series, I should say, he's 2 for 8. And he has got a hit in each of the first 2 games. Mune does play some sparkling 3rd base for the Buffaloes. Mune really got a chance to play regularly last year. It was his first time for the young fella. And he stands in on the left side, waiting on the first offering from Kodai Senga. The first pitch is on the way. It is a fastball that misses down and in. The count is 1-0. Last pitch came in at 98 miles an hour. So 1 ball and no strikes to Mune. Senga can sit in the upper 90s, that is for sure. There's a fastball right down the middle, another one at 98. That one comes in for a called strike, and the count is now 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Mune. Senga wastes a little time. He gets the ball, and he's ready to go. He's not as fast as The pitcher that we saw the other night, there's a fastball swung on it, is grounded over to second, fielded neatly by Momori, who throws to first. That is going to retire Mune on a ground out 4-3 for the second out of the inning. So 2 up and 2 away. That'll bring up the right fielder, Kai Nakagawa. I was thinking the other night in the very first game of the series, it was Shuta Ishikawa for the Hawks. As soon as he got a ball, he was ready to go. It was unbelievable. The hitters had literally the stop sign up on every other pitch, it seemed. Try to slow him down. They were wanting none of it. So Nakagawa steps into the plate. He's 2 for 7 in the series. And the first pitch is a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is quickly 0-1. Nakagawa getting the start again in right field tonight. He had himself a fine campaign this year, did the Buffalo's right fielder. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is lined into right field for a base hit. Just got past the glove of the first baseman, Masaki. And that is a 2-out single for Nakagawa, and that'll bring up the left fielder, Masataka Yoshida. Well, for Yoshida, he is having a great series. He is 4 for 7. He's got a homer and an RBI. He hit that solo shot for icing on the cake of game 1. That was the run that gave the Buffaloes the 5-0 lead. And he has played very well in the series. He is a very dangerous hitter. He was second in the Pacific League in batting average. He does hit from the left side as he steps in at the dish, ready to face the first offering from Kodai Senga. So Yoshida waggling the bat. And here comes the first pitch from Senga as he checks the runner, and now he delivers. It is a split finger pitch, swung on and missed, and the count is quickly 0-1. I think Yoshida wanted to turn that one and go yard with it. So no balls and 1 strike. Yoshida, the left-handed hitting left fielder, we've talked about it last night. I've had a chance to see him play on a number of occasions, and his defense is very, very suspect. A lot of Z routes from the left fielder. And his base running is a little bit to be desired as well. But it is undeniable that he has one of the best bats in the Pacific League. And there's a fastball swung on and grounded foul over on the first base side. The count is now 0-2 to Yoshida. And also his arm is a little bit below standard, but when you have his bat, it's hard to overlook. You can always find a place in the lineup for somebody who can swing it. And make no mistake about it, Masataka Yoshida can swing the bat. So no balls and 2 strikes as the right-hander Senga takes a look in. He's ready to deliver again as he gets his sign from Takuya Kai. And here comes the 0-2 offering. As he kicks and fires, it is a fastball swung on. This ball is taken on 1 hop by the second baseman, Momori. He throws on the run to first base to retire Yoshida. It goes as a ground out 4-3 for the 3rd out of the inning, and that will do it here for the Buffaloes. Well, they had no runs, 1 hit, no errors. There was 1 runner left aboard. We are now through 1 complete. It is the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks 2 and the Orix Buffaloes no score. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back at the top of the 2nd inning when we return a little bit after this. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the bottom 3rd of the batting order coming up for Fukuoka here in the 2nd inning. That means it's going to be Tomoya Masaki, Sama Nomura, and Takuya Kai to get things going against Daiki Tajima. It is only one other game, as we know, going on. It is the other league. It is the Central League, as the Swallows and the Tigers are underway. It is in the bottom of the first inning. Game is locked up at zeros. We'll keep you posted on any updates that come around through the night. And here's the first pitch to Masaki. It's a fastball that misses up, and the count is 1-0. Masaki did get the start in last night's game. He was 1 for 3. And here comes the offering from Tajima, who kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses outside, and the count is now 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes. Just taking a look at the stats on Masaki, as he had appeared in last night's ball game, and there's a fastball that swung on. This ball is lifted into deep left field. Moving over underneath it is Yoshida. He's got lots of room and space, and he's going to make the grab. That's going to retire Masaki for the first out of the inning. So 1 up and 1 away. And that is going to bring up the third baseman, Isamu Nomura. Well, for Nomura, he's getting his first action and first taste of the Climax final, and he had a .239 average on the season. He had 10 homers and 25 runs batted in. And here's the first offering. It's a breaking ball swung on. This ball is lifted into left field, and Yoshida running in. He makes the catch, and that's going to be out number 2. So the last 3 outs by the Hawks have all gone to the glove of Masataka Yoshida. So he has been busy here tonight already. That is a lot of work for a left fielder. John Cardona says he hasn't watched any of the game yet, but definitely listening. Do you mind if I asked why you called that throwing error at first base in the top of the first base suspect? I had to take a look back at it. It looked as if it was, well, the reason I say it was suspect, the first thing is did the second baseman get to the bag? I don't even know if he was on the bag. He did have to leap to make the catch because the ball was overthrown. But if he was in position, would he have been able to get it? There's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is 1-0. So even though the error was to the pitcher, had the fielder been in position to be able to get there and then set himself up and to be able to make a proper leap and make the catch, that's the question I had. And it's a little bit hard to tell from the replay as it was moving quickly. So 2 balls and no strikes to Kai. So the second baseman, his duty is to get to the base. That's his number 1 priority. And here's the pitch. It is a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is 2-1. But as I said, I don't think he was to the bag, and then when he went to leap, I don't think he was in as good a position to be able to come down with that ball. So a bit of a strange situation. 2 balls and 1 strike. There's a fastball that misses inside, and the count is now 3-1. Regardless, it was going to be an error charged to the pitcher because he did throw the ball over the head of the second baseman covering. But as I mentioned again, it would have been something that, had he been in the proper position, he might have had a chance to be able to make that play. There's a fastball that drops in, and the count is now 3-2 to Kai. Kai on the series, he's had a pretty good series. He's 3 for 7. All things considered, he batted 180 on the season. So any contribution out of the 9 spot is much appreciated by the Hawks. And there's a fastball that he checks his swing on and fouls away. And the count is going to remain at 3-2. So 3 balls and 2 strikes to Takuya Kai. The lefty Tajima working here. He's settled down a little bit since that rocky first inning. As he gets the side from his catcher Wakatsuki, he holds at the belt. And now he kicks and delivers. There's a fastball that misses down. They appeal over to the first base umpire, but they say Kai didn't go, and he's going to get himself a 2-out walk. That is going to bring up the top of the order in Masaki Momori. Well, for Momori tonight, he led the game off with a double. And that's another issue, too. I know our friend John Cardona asked the question in the chat about the suspect throw to first base. Well, I think Tajima would want that double back from Momori. It was an 0-2 pitch. He left it in too good a place, and he took it to the pull gap in right center field. He was able to loop that in for a double. We got our friend Jimmy Redbeard in the house. That's Redbeard breaks. There's a breaking ball that misses down and away to Mamori, and the count is 1-0. Jimmy's already looking for action on an opening day game. I think our opening day is going to start with the World Baseball Classic. We'll be doing a lot of warm-up for that through the month of March. Lots of entertaining baseball to be had and competitive ball early on. There's a breaking ball swung on. It's grounded foul over on the first base side, and the count goes even to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. The winner of this game gets the right to compete for the Pacific League in the Nippon Series or the Japan Series final. And right now, everything is in the favor of the Orix Buffaloes as they have a commanding 3-0 lead in the series. So Mamori with 1 ball and 1 strike, waiting on the offering here from the lefty Tajima, who holds at the belt. And now he kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on and fouled away. The count is now 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Mamori. 2 gone here in the second inning. The runner at first is Takuya Kai, and Masaki Mamori is in the hole at 1-2. We will be back on the airwaves tomorrow should this series extend to another game. And if it doesn't, then we'll be eyeballing that other game between the Swallows and the Hanshin Tigers. If that game goes an extra game or 2, we'll cover that one. There's a fastball that misses outside. The count is 2-2. And so are we going to cover the Japan Series games? I think we would like to. I know last year we had some challenges trying to get feeds. So we'll have to wait and see if that's going to be something that we're going to be able to cover. We'll know that probably almost right up until the game time. So 2 balls and 2 strikes as the lefty Tajima holds at the belt. And now he delivers. It's a fastball swung on and fouled away. The count is 2-2. So still 2 balls and 2 strikes to Mamori. We won't be doing anything in the Major League Baseball realm for the playoffs. We've tapped out on that one this year. We had just so many other commitments that are going on, and not be able to do it on a regular or full-time basis would leave a lot of our listeners in the lurch. But we will be resuming our stuff with the Classic in the month of March. There's a fastball swung on, and this ball is driven foul into the seats down the right field line. The count remains at 2 balls and 2 strikes to Mamori. But definitely keep an eye on the channel as we will be pumping out some different content through the off season. We'll try to keep everything flowing and going, and hopefully people will stay with us during that time and get geared up for another year of baseball in 2023. So 2 balls and 2 strikes as the lefty Tajima holds set. Now he delivers. It's a breaking ball swung on. It's lifted foul into the seats down the third base line. The count remains at 2-2. Jimmy Redbeard breaks, says, I'm still cheering on the Mariners. Yeah, the Mariners, a couple of crushing defeats. Certainly the first one on the walk-off by Yordan Alvarez, and then Alvarez strikes again yesterday with a home run off of Luis Castillo to put them in front, and they never looked back after that. So he's having himself a great series. There's a fastball taken for a called third strike. Mamori stood there like the house by the side of the road and watched it go by for out number 3. That is going to do it here for the Hawks in their half of the second inning. Well, they had no runs, no hits, no errors. There was a runner left aboard. We're now through 1.5. It is the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks 2. The Orix Buffaloes no score. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back with the call at the bottom of the second inning after this. We appreciate you guys for being here with us and listening in. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the 5, 6, and 7 hitters to come to bat for the Buffaloes in their half of the second inning. It'll be Masahiro Nishino, Yataro Sugimoto, and Yumatagu to face the right-hander Kodai Senga, who was able to retire 3 of the 4 batters he faced in the first inning. Nishino on the series is 0 for 2. He does have a couple of RBIs to his name. So he is going to be the one that's leading it off here as the pitcher Senga has completed his warm-up tosses and we're ready to resume the action. Our friend Redbeard Break says that he loves Castillo in Seattle. And he is probably the Seattle fans love Castillo in Seattle as well. Jimmy Redbeard is a Cincinnati Red fan. There's the fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is quickly 0-1 to Nishino. As we said, Nishino has an 0 for 2 start in the series, but he has a couple of RBIs. He has been on base quite a bit. He's also walked as well. There's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is 0-2. In the first game of the series, Nishino walked 3 times. He had himself an RBI. There's a fastball that misses inside. The count is now 1-2. In last night's ball game, he also had an RBI, a sacrifice bunt. And he also got himself a sacrifice fly last night as well. That was the one that brought in the run. There's a fastball swung on it. It is grounded on one hop over to the first baseman. It's a nice play by Masaki, and he's going to step on the bag. That's going to retire Nishino on a ground out to first. For the first out of the inning, that's going to bring up the designated hitter, Yataro Sugimoto. Our friend Imants Kaisles, I hope I said that correctly, is hoping for a big score today. Well, we'll see how it goes. I'm not sure with these 2 pitchers on the mound that we're going to see big-time scoring. Yataro Sugimoto is having himself a great series. He's 5 for 7. He's got a homer and 4 RBIs. And he was waiting here on the first offering from Senga. It's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1. Sugimoto had a struggle this year at the plate. He was hitting in the low 200s for most of the year, but he ended up catching fire to bring his average up into the 230s by season's end. Right in time for the playoffs, there's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count is 0-2. What I see, at least not just when he's facing Senga tonight, but even in the other 2 games of the series, he's just a little bit off with his timing. That pitch there caught him on the fists. Just can't get the barrel head out in front of on the ball right now. He's getting tied up and getting beat. So we'll see how this plays out for him. Here's the 0-2 pitch. It's a fastball swung on and fouled over on the third base side. Count remains at 0-2. Only 9 pitches in the first inning for Kodai Senga. Very efficient with his work. So no balls and 2 strikes to the big fella. As the right-hander ready to resume action. He gets the sign from his catcher, Takuya Kai. He's ready to go back to work. And now he is gesturing with Kai, not sure what they're doing, and now they step off. They're not on the same page. Kai has come out in front of the plate and does a little walkabout. So I think he and his veteran right-hander are going to redo the whole sign system again. Our friend Imantes asked the question, is this different from MLB? The Japanese league is different. Obviously, it's in Japan. It's their version. There's a fastball that misses down, and the count is 1-2. We got Mick 3Y official in the house tonight. Welcome, Mick. We missed you last night. Glad you could pop in here with us. Back to Imant's question. It's the Japanese league has some major league quality players. There's no doubt about it. Some people will often refer to it as a AAA league. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count remains at 1-2. I think some of those teams in the NPB, you could probably say that they are AAA quality, or even some of the players, but there's also some other teams that are, and I was really sour this year on the Hokkaido Nippon Ham Fighters. Mick says he kind of fell asleep last night. I was kind of sleepwalking through the game. I'd had a big day. I was over up on the Sunshine Coast. There's a fastball that misses upstairs. The count's now 2-2. So I was running on about 3 hours sleep trying to give that call last night. And how did it go? I'd like to tell you it went good, but that was a game that was slogged through. It was a fairly entertaining affair as well. Here comes the 2-2 pitch as the right-hander holds at the belt. And now he kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that comes inside, and that runs the count to 3-2 on Sugimoto. So it looks like he's going to try to come all the way back here. The right-handed stick. This will be the 8th pitch of the at-bat coming up. Already earned himself a quality at-bat here. So the right-hander gets the sign, and he works to the set position. And now he kicks and delivers. It is a breaking ball. It's taken for a called third strike. Sugimoto stood there like the house by the side of the road and watched that one go by for out number 2. That's going to leave it all up to the first baseman, Yuma Tongu. My friend Mick says he's in the Japan USA. I assume that's what he's looking forward to, either in the Classic. But it's like battling here to stay awake. It is like a fight, maybe for North America against Japan. Mick says he's not happy with Orix. Here comes the first pitch from Senga. It's a fastball that misses down, and the count is 1-0 to Tongu. Well, the Buffaloes have sure done their part here in this series. They've won the games they're supposed to, and they've done it in impressive fashion, outscoring their opposition 9-3 so far in the first 2 games. A fastball there misses down to Tongu, and the count is now 2-0. John Cardona says this is the same league that has found us pitchers like Ohtani and Darvish. Absolutely. And if you go back, it would be Hideo Nomo and others. The pitcher that I really fancied and liked for a long time is that breaking ball misses upstairs. The count is now 3-0. I liked Iwakuma, who pitched for the Seattle Mariners. I really didn't appreciate Iwakuma until he got to the big leagues. There's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 3-1. He was a really nice number 2 in behind King Felix for a few years there in Seattle, as Tongu has asked for time and steps out of the batter's box. So 3 balls and 1 strike. I think Major League Baseball will really like this Kodai Senga, who's on the mound for the Hawks. As we said, Senga, the 29-year-old, he'll be 30 after the season. He has indicated he wants to be posted. He wants to come to North America to try his hand. Well, when you're sitting at 98 miles an hour from the right side as a starter, as that fastball is swung on and fouled away, the count is now 3-2 to Tongu. It'll be very interesting to see how he fares. The one thing I am going to say is that the more I watch the Japanese baseball, it's a fastball, breaking ball type of league. And of course, there's a lot of split finger pitches. That's still the pitch that is in vogue in Japan. There's a fastball taken for a called third strike. And Tongu looks at that one go by for out number 3. A little bit too much window shopping for Tongu, as he is retired here for the 3rd out of the inning. I'll come back with my thoughts on Senga when I return. But no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board for the Buffaloes here in the 2nd. We're now through 2 complete. It is the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks 2 and the Orix Buffaloes no score. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be back in just a few with all the action after this. Great to have you with us. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the 2, 3, and 4 hitters coming to bat for the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks here in the top of the third inning. It means it's going to be Yukio Shudo, Yuki Yanagita, and Alfredo Despania to face the lefty Daiki Tajima. Tajima has himself one strikeout over the first 2 innings. The first pitch to Shudo is a breaking ball, swung on and missed. The count is 0-1. Just to touch back on the thoughts about the pitchers that Japan has produced, obviously getting Shohei Ohtani and Yu Darvish. It's unfortunate about Kohei Arihara, who signed with the Texas Rangers. There's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count's now 0-2 to Shudo. So I would have been very interested to see how that would have played out if Arihara could have had a decent career as well, because that would have been 3 fighters pitchers that were top end. Of course, Arihara had Tommy John surgery, and that ended up derailing his big league career. As there's a breaking ball that misses down, the count's 1-2 to Shudo. Shudo reached on that error in the first inning, and he was able to help bring in that first run. There's a fastball that misses outside, and the count's now 2-2. I really find it interesting to watch Shudo play. He is very exciting. He hits the start in left field tonight. He was at third base in the first couple of games of the series. There's a fastball swung on, his tap slowly to the mound. Tajima fields it. He throws to first, and that's going to retire Shudo on a ground out 1-3. He is gone for the first out of the inning, so 1 up and 1 away. That's going to bring up the right fielder, Yuki Yanagita. So just a couple more thoughts on Shudo. Shudo is got some wheels. Last night when he scored that run, he was able to go first to third. Exciting to watch him move around the bases. He's got some wheels. He's also got north of 20 stolen bases, so when he does get on, he's a threat on the base paths to run. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is lined to left field. It's going to get down for a base hit. Yanagita goes the other way, and he's got himself a single. That is going to bring up the designated hitter, Alfredo Despania. Imant's asked the question, and I hope I say the name properly when you're asking the question. He says, are the NPB games shorter than the MLB? Well, Major League Baseball, their games, I don't know what the average time is, but if you go to the NPB website, they say that the average 9-inning game in the NPB is 3 hours and 9 minutes. There's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1 to Despania. And I remember years ago that the American League games used to last longer than the National League games, and that was because, even though you had the DH, there was more scoring, more offense, the pitching changes were happening. There was more strategy in the National League game. They might have to wait to make their changes when the pitchers were coming to bat. As the fastball misses upstairs to Despania, and the count's now 1-1. Despania is 3 for 10 on the series. He's got that couple RBIs. And here's the pitch. It's a fastball that misses outside. The count goes to 2-1. So to kind of answer your question on that, if I'm not mistaken, at the time, this is going back a few years ago, American League games or National League games were in and around the 3-hour, 10-minute mark, and the American League games were about 20 minutes longer. There's a fastball that catches the outside corner, and the count is now 3-2 to Despania. But where I really notice the game where it slows down is the bullpens. When you start making the pitching changes, the new pitchers come into the game. That's where it starts to slow it down. The tempo and the pace of the game changes. The pitchers who come in, the starters usually have a very similar type of rhythm. Here's the pitch from Tajima. It's a fastball swung on its line foul into the seats down the right field line. Count remains at 2-2, but the relievers, when they come in, they have different paces, and they're usually slower paces. Work at a little slower tempo. They're not as quick. They're not looking to get into the rhythm like the starters do. The rhythm is a little slower, so that seems to take the pace off the game. And there's a breaking ball swung on. It is popped up behind second base. Moving in on it is the right fielder Nakagawa, who calls off Nishino. And he's going to make the catch, and that is going to retire Despania for the second out of the inning, and that's going to bring up the shortstop Kenta Imamiya. Well, for Imamiya, he is 0 for 1 tonight. He flew to right field his first time, up 0 for 5 in the series. John Cardona says, I remember when Daisuke Matsuzaka came into the league from the NPB to Boston, and everyone acted like he had a magical pitch, the gyro ball they'd never seen before in the MLB. Like it defied science. Yeah, that's true. Once you see a pitcher and once you see his pitch for the first time, it's no mystery after that. There's a fastball that misses down and the count is 1-0. And certainly for hitters, it could be throwing a one-fingered fastball, and you're still going to be able to, once you see it the first time, you're going to be able to process it and be able to remember it. Now, whether you can hit it or not, it's a different story. There's a fastball that swung on, it's lifted into the seats, and the count is now 1-1. I had a friend of mine who used to pitch in the Kansas City organization, and he said a number of years ago when they were playing the other teams, he'd come out onto the mound, and he didn't throw particularly hard, and he had a lot of different pitches in his arsenal, and the other teams would be frustrated. And the manager said the other teams would be like, how come we can't hit this guy? What's this guy throwing? It's like the same slop he threw the last time, and they still can't hit him. There's a breaking ball swung on and fouled away, and the count is 1-2. Sometimes pitchers, whatever reason it is, they have the numbers of teams that can they deliver the pitches, and are able to make it work, and that's the way it kind of runs. So 1-2 strikes to Imamiya. As the lefty delivers, it is a fastball swung on. It is grounded over to the first baseman, who fields it and steps on the bag. A nice play there by Yumatangu, and that is going to do it here for the Hawks in their half of the third. So no runs in the inning. There was a hit. There were no errors, and one runner left the board. We are now moving to the bottom of the third inning. It is a 2-0 lead for the Hawks. The Buffaloes are coming to bat looking to hopefully get some action going for them. We'll be right back in just a few after this. Welcome back, everybody. We're moving to the bottom of the third inning, and it is still a 2-0 lead for Fukuoka. It is in the top of the third at the Jinju Stadium, and the Swallows and the Tigers are locked at zeros. Our friend in the chat here, Imant, says final score 2-0. I was just thinking about that as I went to break, and I was thinking about what the scoreline was about to be. Wouldn't it be ironic if it was a 2-1 final? Because I was lamenting the fact that the Buffaloes had the infield in that first inning, and when Despaigne hit the ball over the second baseman's head or blooped it over his head, it would have been an out if it was in normal depth. So if that ends up coming around to haunt the Buffaloes, I'll be pointing to that in the post game for sure. There's a first pitch delivered to Wakatsuki that is a fastball that misses inside for ball one. The count is 1-0. Wakatsuki started the first game of the series. He had last night off as Tori Fushimi was behind the plate. And he squares to bunt again, and that pitch is a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count's now 1-1. On the series, he is 1 for 4 is Wakatsuki. And here comes the offering from the righty, Senga, who kicks and delivers. There's a breaking ball swung on and missed. The count is 1-2. Our friend John Cardona asked the question to Mick. He says, are you familiar with the Australian League? He says he bets on second halves. And our friend Mick, I know he puts a lot of time into it. He does bet on some of that stuff. There's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count's 2-2. There's another fella who listens to our channel, the Living Room Sports. And he is usually in on the weekend games, the earlier starts. but he is also one of those fans of the Australian Basketball League. He follows that quite a bit. There's a fastball that misses down, and the count's now 3-2 to Wakatsuki. And that ball was spiked into the ground, and Takuya Kai had to come up and block it. And it took it right on the chest protector in a weird spot. So 3 balls and 2 strikes to Wakatsuki. Kotaro Kobayashi is on deck, and that'll be the top of the order, Shuhei Fukuda. So 3 balls and 2 strikes to Wakatsuki. Senga works to the set position. Now he kicks and delivers. It's a split finger pitch, swung on and missed. Wakatsuki has gone on strikes for the first out of the inning. That's the 3rd batter in a row retired via the strikeout. So Senga is starting to hit his groove now. He has retired 7 of the 8 batters he's faced. That's going to bring up the shortstop, Kotaro Kobayashi. So Kobayashi is 1 for 4 on the series. He did not get the start in last night's game. He came in for defensively, as it was Ryo Adachi who played short. There's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Mick says NBL has its own YouTube channel, John. If you're looking in, there's a breaking ball swung on and fouled away, and the count is now 0-2. So if you're looking for Australian basketball, that might be something you want to take a peek at. So no balls and 2 strikes to Kobayashi. Right-hander Senga now kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that swung on. It is looped, and a great play by the second baseman, Mamori, diving to his right. That ball was looped up the middle, and you're going to have to say that Kobayashi is going to feel a little hard done by that one, but what a fantastic play by the second baseman. He had to get on his horse. He dove to his right, was able to leap and make the catch. And that is going to retire Kobayashi for the 2nd out of the inning, and it'll bring up the top of the order and Shuhei Fukuda. So Fukuda steps to the plate. He is 0 for 1. And the first pitch from Senga is a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Fukuda grounded out to short his first time on the first pitch that he saw. That ball to Kenta Imamiya. Took the ball on one hop and was able to retire Fukuda. There's a fastball swung on and is lifted foul into the seats. Count is now 0-2. John is looking for some assistance from Mick. If you've got something. So here comes the 0-2 pitch. As the fastball swung on it is grounded up the middle. Backhand play by Mamori, who throws off a 1 foot, and he's going to nail Fukuda at first base as he slides in. 2 defensive web gems in the same inning from Mamori. What a fantastic play. That's going to go down as a ground out 4-3 for the 3rd out. So back-to-back plays by the Fukuoka second baseman, and a fantastic defensive display by Mamori. Well, for the Buffaloes in their half of the inning, there was no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We're now through 3 complete. It is the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks 2 and the Orix Buffaloes no score. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back with the call in just a couple moments. Appreciate you guys for being there. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving here to the top of the fourth inning. It is going to be Taisi Makihara, Tomoya Masaki, and Isamu Nomura to come to bat to face Daiki Tajima. Will begin his fourth inning of work. Speaking of leagues producing players, as we were talking about the Japanese pumping out some major league players, when you put it in perspective, though, and I'll come back to this in a second, there's a first pitch breaking ball delivered to Makihara, and that's taken for a called strike. The count's 0-1. Makihara is 2 for 9 in this series, is 0 for 1 tonight, as he's waiting on the delivery from the lefty, who delivers a fastball that swung on. It's taken on one hop by the first baseman. Nice play there by Tongu, who steps on the bag. That's the last inning ended, and it's how this inning starts. A ground out to 3. So 1 up and 1 away, and that's going to bring up Tomoya Masaki. And Masaki on the game is 0 for 1. He flew to left field his first time up, and he is 1 for 4 on the series. And here's the first offering from the lefty Tajima. It's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. When you think of the baseball players, and I was going to say about Major League Baseball getting the Japanese players, there are some players who have stayed in Japan that probably could have come and made a career in Major League Baseball, but have chosen to stay behind. And I can kind of understand why. There's a fastball that misses upstairs. Count is 1-1. I used the example the other night in Hayato Sakamoto. There's a fastball swung on his line to the glove of the third baseman, Mune, who has to move to his left to haul it in. What a great play by the third baseman, and that is going to retire Masaki. Hit that ball right on the screws, but right to the glove of the third baseman for out number 2. That's going to bring up the third baseman, Isamu Nomura. Well, as I was starting to say, as the web gem there by the Buffaloes now has helped us out. The part I was actually talking about is there's a breaking ball that misses down to Nomura, and the count's 1-0. As you think about the Japanese and the amount of players that have played, both Sakamoto, when he was in his prime, the Yomiuri Giant shortstop didn't move anywhere. He didn't come to North America. There was a breaking ball ticket for a called strike, but he would have fit in on most teams. He would have been a very good shortstop in Major League Baseball. I also think of, for example, Yuki Yanagita, who's in the Hawks lineup. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into right field, moving over underneath it. As the right fielder Nakagawa, he makes the catch. And that is going to do it, as that retires Nomura for the third out of the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board here for the Hawks in their half of the fourth. We're moving to the bottom half. It is going to be the Buffaloes coming to bat with the 2, 3, and 4 hitters. It is a 2-0 lead for the Hawks. We'll be right back after this. I'll try to finish that thought when I come back as well. Appreciate you guys for being here. Welcome back, everybody. It is the 2, 3, and 4 hitters to come to bat for the Orix Buffaloes. That means Yumamuni, Kai Nakagawa, and Masataka Yoshida to come to bat to face Kodai Senga, who has retired the last 7 batters he's faced. Senga has 3 strikeouts on the ball game, and he has pitched very, very well, and he's also had some defensive help, especially in that last inning from Masaki Momori, the second baseman for the Hawks. So Mune stepping to the plate. He's 2 for 9 in the series, 0 for 1 tonight. As he grounded to the second baseman his first time up. He bats from the left side against the right-handed throwing Senga. Rocks into the motion and delivers. It is a breaking ball swung on and fouled away. The count is quickly 0-1 to Mune. So no balls and 1 strike. Mune is got himself a balanced stance, and he's just a little bit off the plate. Normally he was a little closer, I think, last year. There's a fastball that's foul tipped into the middle of the catcher, Kai. Count is 2-2, and it looks like he may have squared himself off a bit. I thought he was a little bit more open last year. So no balls and 2 strikes to Mune. As the right-hander delivers, it is a fastball that misses down, and the count is 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Our friend Montes says that they placed a dumb bet on the over 7.5. I think this game is going to be very, very, very difficult. I'm surprised that 7.5 was the spread in this one. Although I have to say maybe Tajima would have accounted for that. There's a fastball taken for a called third strike. Mune just turned around and started heading back to the dugout. That's the third strikeout. It has been a called third strike of the 4 tonight by Senga. So 1 up and 1 away, and that'll bring up the right fielder, Kai Nakagawa. Well, like a surgeon, Kodai Senga has been precision-like and has been really, really good here tonight. And they need that to the Hawks if they're going to be able to survive and go on to the next ball game, which will be tomorrow night. So here comes the first offering now from the righty Senga, who holds the belt and now delivers. It's a breaking ball swung on it, is taken on 1 hop by Imamiya at short. He fires across the diamond, and that's going to retire Nakagawa on a ground out 6-3. He's done for the second out of the inning, and that's going to bring up the left fielder, Masataka Yoshida. Well, 9 in a row in the books for Senga as the Orix left fielder comes to bat. As we get the view of the game tonight, it looks like there's a few more people in the upper deck than there has been in the first 2 games. As I said, I was a little bit disappointed with the crowd in Orix. You would think that they make the playoffs and they're going to be there. They'd fill the place up, but they really haven't. So a little disappointing for this ball club from Osaka. There was a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is quickly 0-1 to Yoshida. Yoshida 0 for 1 tonight, but 4 for 8 on the series with a homer and an RBI. As the right-hander holds at the belt. Now he kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on it, is popped up. It's over on the left side. It's playable. Moving over underneath it is the third baseman, and that's Namura, and he's going to make the catch. And that is going to do it. Yoshida is retired for the third out of the inning. And the Buffaloes go quietly here in the fourth. There was no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We're now through 4 complete. It is a 2-0 ball game for the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks. Hanging tight, everybody. We'll be right back for the top of the 5th in just a moment. Got to keep up with the ticker. Ticker's an inning behind. We're a little bit behind on the updates, so we'll be right back in just a few. Would you like to support Last Drafts Baseball? We would appreciate it if you did. Be sure to check out our eBay page where we have baseball merchandise. We also have stuff from the Japanese League for those who listen from Japan. But we also do other sports like football and basketball as well. Don't forget, visit Last Drafts Baseball's eBay store to help support the channel. We'll be glad you did. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving to the top of the fifth inning. It's going to be the 9, 1, and 2 hitters in the batting order for the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks. That means Takuya Kai, Masaki Momori, and Yukio Shudo to come to bat to face the left-hander Denki Tajima. Our friend John Cardona says he finds it just weird, or maybe I don't know if weird's a good word, but he finds it just crazy that all the games are being played in Osaka, which is correct. I find it fascinating. I'm going to share a couple of thoughts on this. And I also think it's interesting. It's only a 6-game series, being that the higher seeded team is awarded a win right out of the gate. I said that wouldn't fly in North America. That's a game or a gate receipt that you're not getting. And here's the first pitch to Takuya Kai. It's a fastball that misses inside for ball one. The count is 1-0. Kai was aboard with a base on balls his first time up tonight. He is 3 for 7 on the series. And here comes the offering. It is a fastball taken for a called strike. The count is 1-1. So by awarded the first win, basically you don't get a gate receipt. So even if it's 25,000 or 30,000 fans, whatever the number you want to put in there, you're missing out on all your hot dog and sushi sales, and you're not getting your ramen and all the rest of that stuff. There's a fastball that swung on and fouled away, and the count is now 1-2. So that is something that I shake my head over. I can't believe that they're going to do that. But I can tell you stories about when I was in Europe and how some of the things were operated, and I walk away shaking my head, and the Europeans must say, geez, those North Americans are nuts. But whatever it takes to put fans in the stands and put the gate receipt in, it's going to be what it takes. But there they lose one of the games by awarding a victory. And here comes the 1-2 pitch. It's a fastball swung on. This ball is belted into deep left center field, racing over, and this ball is going to get down. It's going to be off the wall. Digging for 2 is Kai, and he's going to make it there safely. He doubled into the left center field gap, and he's got himself a leadoff double here in the 5th inning. That's going to bring up the top of the order in Masaki Momori. Well, as we said, Takuya Kai on the season only hitting $180. That hit tonight. He's now 4 for 8 in this series and 4 for 10 in the playoffs. So fascinating stuff. As Kai is getting hot at the right time as well, and that's going to bring Masaki Momori to the plate. For Momori, he is 1 for 2 tonight. He doubled and scored a run in the first inning. He struck out looking in the second. He is 2 for 10 on the series, but he is squaring the bunt. And here's the pitch, and it's down, and it's not a good one. It's fielded by the catcher, Wakatsuki. He throws over to third. It is not in time. They go back across the diamond, and they nail Momori. I'm interested to see what's going on here. They're going to have maybe a look at this one, and that's exactly what it is. They said that the runner at third was being Takuya Kai was safe. They're going to go up and review it because Yuma Mune and he are having a good laugh. I want to see the replay of this because the batter runner, Momori, was thrown out over at first. A nice play by Mune, but I want to see if Momori was dogging it down the line or not, because he was thrown out, and if they do end up getting Kai, it's going to be a double play. So let's take a look at this one again. He bunted it, and he was really slow getting out of the box. In fact, he stood there at home plate. The throw went down over to third. Mune applied the tag. The third base umpire called him safe. We're getting the review on that one right now. And I can tell you that, ooh, boy, I think Kai made it in there. I guess it'll depend on the camera angle that the umpires might have, but I think Kai has made it in there. But the fact that Momori stood at home plate once the ball got down and he got gunned out at first base, they should have runners on the corners. Poor base running by the second baseman of the Hawks. I'm pretty sure that call is going to stand. I don't think they're going to overturn that one. And if that is the case, it'll be interesting to see how they score it. Because one would have to think that's probably going to be a sacrifice, and it'll be a 1-5-3 on the putout. But we're just going to wait to see if that is the case, if assuming that Kai had reached safely. Our friend Imantis asked the question about how many bases are taken. Here comes the call, and they is safe at third. So Kai is safely into third base. It's going to go down as a sacrifice, 1-5-3 to retire Mamori. And he should get an earful in the dugout when he comes back, because that is not very good. He bunted the ball and then stood in the batter's box while he watched the play and then took off the first base, and he wasn't even running hard. Oh boy, that's not going to endear yourself to your coaches. Well, Kai is the runner at third. It's Yukio Shudo now at the plate with one gone. Shudo tonight is 0 for 2. He reached on an error and scored a run his first time up, and he grounded out his last time. It is a suicide squeeze play. It's a pitch out. They've got Kai on a rundown, and they're going to get him between third and home. Oh, that might come back to haunt the Hawks. Shudo literally had to leap into the right-handed batter's box to try to bunt the ball by maintaining his position. Wakatsuki ran it down, and that is going to go as a putout. I believe we're going to see it as a 1-2-5 in the books, but we'll see where that stands here. So let's see. They have the squeeze on. They pitched out. The catcher does a nice job of getting him into the hot box, and that is how he is going to be run out there. A putout of 1-2-5. As he is erased for the second out of the inning. That first pitch to Shudo was a strike because he offered at it. And here comes the 0-1 pitch. It's a fastball that misses outside. The count is 1-1. It's a good question in my mind is, when's the last time in Major League Baseball we've seen a suicide squeeze? We've seen that here tonight. We've seen it a few times. Even the safety squeeze in the NPB this year, as a fastball is swung on and missed, and the count is 1-2 to Shudo. But Major League Baseball, I can't remember when you've seen suicide squeeze plays, at least in this season. There's a breaking ball swung on. It is grounded softly to second. Fielded by Nishino. He has to hurry, and he throws out Shudo by half a step. It goes as a ground out, 4-3. And that is going to do it here for the Hawks in their half of the fifth. Well, they threaten, but they don't score. There were no runs in the inning. There was the hit by Kai, no errors, and nobody left the board. We're now through 4.5. It is a 2-0 lead for the Hawks over the Buffaloes. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple moments with this. We appreciate you guys being here with us, and we'll take the extended break during the Japanese halftime, as we like to call it. That's going to be in another half inning. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody. We're moving to the bottom of the fifth inning. It is going to be the second baseman, Masahiro Nishino, then Yataro Sugimoto and Yuma Tongu to come to bat. There is scoring in the other ball game. In the top of the fourth inning, the Hanshin Tigers had a leadoff walk to Oyama, and he later came around to score on a sacrifice fly by Yokawa. They are out in front of the Swallows 1-0. That is in the bottom of the fourth inning. This game here is in the bottom of the fifth. Moving along nicely, and a lot has to do with the pitcher on the mound, Kodai Senga, as he has retired the last 10 batters he has faced. It'll be, as we said, Nishino, Sugimoto, and Tongu to test him here in the fifth inning. And one would have to think that Kodai Senga, who's hardly really broken a sweat here, is going to be cruising right along. I would think they are going to be seeing him for pretty much most of the night, if not probably 8 innings, I would think, at the pace he's at right now. So here comes the first offering from the right-hander. Only 46 pitches in the first 4 innings. He's hardly broken a sweat. Here comes the first offering now to Nishino, who he kicks and delivers. He squares to bunt, and he bunts it foul. Goes all the way to the backstop, and the count is 0-1. Nishino tonight grounded to first his first time up. He's 0 for 3 on the series. Our friend Beast in the Beauty Breaks says, thanks for the good night's sleep. He just woke up. We're always appreciative of you for stopping in here, Beast. Glad you can make it. So here comes the offering now from Senga, who kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses down and in, and the count is 1-1. Nishino is, as we said, 0 for 3 on the series. He has a couple RBIs. He's also had a sacrifice bunt and a sacrifice fly. And the 1-1 pitch is on the way here from Senga, who delivers. It is a split finger pitch that misses down, and the count is 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike. Beast in the Beauty Break says about the good night's sleep. Sometimes he chides me as we don't always show all the emotion in this one. If you want a good night's sleep, you got to watch that Thursday night football game last night between the Commanders and the Bears. As that fastball is taken on the inside corner. The count is now 2-2. Absolute snooze fest between those clubs. It was a Washington victory. So here comes the 2-2 from Senga as he gets his sign from Kai. And now he's ready to go to work. He shakes his catcher off a couple of times, and now he nods in agreement. And the 2-2 is ready to go. He kicks and he fires. It is a split finger pitch that misses down. The count now goes to 3-2 on Nishino. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. 3:18 Pacific time, 6:18 if you're on the East Coast of the United States and Canada. Whatever time it is, it's baseball time, and we're glad you're with us. So the batter, Sugimoto, is waiting his turn on deck. John Cardona said he had the Washington football game on, and they almost blew it. There's a fastball swung on. It's grounded to second. Fielded neatly by Mamori, who throws to first. It's going to retire Nishino on a ground out 4-3 for the first out of the inning, and that will bring up the DH, Shitaro Sugimoto. You're absolutely correct. The Commanders had given the Bears great field position there late in the ball game. I think they were inside the 10. The Bears couldn't cash it in. So 1 gone here. Sugimoto steps to the plate. He is 0 for 1 tonight. He struck out his first time up. He is 5 for 8 on the series. He's got the homer and 4 RBIs. So the big fella needs to get something going here. Here's the first offering from Senga, who delivers a fastball that's swung on and fouled away, and the count is quickly 0-1. The only hit tonight was by Kai Nakagawa for the Buffaloes. That was back in the first inning. Outside of that, Senga has faced 1 over the minimum so far in this one. And based on what I can tell you with the stuff that he's got tonight, looks pretty darn good. Here comes the 0-1 pitch as the right-hander kicks and delivers. It is a fastball that just misses off the outside corner. The count is now 1-1. Mats says that he already thought and he's hoping for the under 5.5. Yeah, well, I think that you might want to hedge your bet there, because if you took the over 7.5, it might be total hits in this game. Might not get to that number. There's a breaking ball that misses inside, and the count's now 2-1 to Sugimoto. As I said, when Sugimoto hit the last time, it looked like his bat speed, he's behind. He's late on everything. He's getting hit down the shaft of the bat, the narrow part of the bat, not the up around the barrel. So here comes the 2-1 pitch. As Senga now kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball, swung on and missed. The count goes to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Sugimoto. Be curious to see how this other series across the way shapes up. As we said, it's a 1-0 game for the Hanshin Tigers. There's a split finger pitch swung on and missed. And Sugimoto is gone for the second time tonight via the strikeout. That's the first time he's gone down swinging. And that'll leave it up to the first baseman, Yuma Tongu. That's now 5 strikeouts in the book for Kodai Senga. is making it go here. Forget hits. The Buffaloes are looking for another base runner. They had, as we said, they had that one hit from Nakagawa back in the first inning, and after that, it has been crickets. There's a first pitch fastball that misses down to Tongu, and the count is quickly 1-0. Tongu, in his first trip to the plate, he struck out looking. He's 0 for 3 on the series. And here's the pitch. It is a fastball that misses outside, and the count is now 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes. Freddie Mott says from what he's seen, if innings 1 through 5, it's over 2.5, then it's maximum 7. To a maximum score is 5 points or 5 runs, I'm sure is what he's suggesting. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count is 2-1. Well, certainly with these two clubs and the relief pitching that they have, runs are going to be at a premium the rest of the way. So here comes the 2-1 pitch. It's a fastball swung on. This ball is taken on a couple of hops by the second baseman, Momori. He throws to first. That's going to retire Tongu. Momori's been a busy guy tonight. That is going to retire Tongu for the 3rd out of the inning, and that will do it here. No runs in the inning, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We're going to our Japanese halftime. We're going to put some music on loop for you. We'll come back with the call at the top of the 6th after this. But it is a little extended break here in Japan, and so we'll be back in just a couple moments. Appreciate everybody for being here and for listening in with us. Welcome back, everybody. I should put this on video music loop more often. When I left, we only had, I think, 7 people in the chat, and we ended up coming back with 9. We appreciate everyone who is here listening in tonight. Thank you guys for being here. We are moving to the top of the 6th inning, and it is going to be coming to bat for the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks. It'll be Yuki Yanagita, Alfredo Despania, and Kenta Imamiya. We were talking a little bit earlier about the series, about how all 6 games are going to be played at the Kyocera Dome. And I was talking about how the fans, there's a lack of fans in the stands for games 1 and 2. And our friend John Cardona says he can't believe that all 6 games are being played at one venue. I actually kind of find it fascinating. I think earning that right to be able to host all the games, but geez, it doesn't give you the home field advantage. And so for the Orix Buffaloes, the Buffaloes play their home games, or the majority of their home games, at the Kyocera Dome, but they also play some games in Kobe at the stadium there, because the Orix Buffaloes at one time were a merger of 2 teams, the Kintetsu Buffaloes and the Orix Blue Wave. And of course, one team was more Osaka-based and the other team was based in Kobe, and they merged them together, and they still play, I believe it's 2 or 3 series a year. And the stadium that is in Kobe is very similar in terms of the way it is to the Koshien. It is the all-dirt infield. And so they get the chance to play their games there. But it'd be interesting to see if they do go to the Japanese or to the Japan series, if they're going to play any games at the outdoor stadium in Kobe. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I'm pretty sure last year, if I recall correctly, when they played the Yakult Swallows, they did play a couple of games in that series, or one game, at least one game in Kobe. And so, of course, those fans there would get an opportunity to be able to experience the series as well. So the pitcher Tajima is back out onto the hill. He's completing his warm-up tosses, 69 pitches through the first 5 innings for him. And the way it's going for Tajima, in my opinion, he could probably go into the 7th and maybe even into the 8th inning the way he has worked. Only the runs he's given up were to the first 2 batters of the ball game. As Saki Momori hit a double, came home to score on the error by the pitcher. And then Alfredo Despania brought home Yukio Shudo with an RBI single. And that is where we stand, 2-0, as it has been a really well-pitched ball game. So that brings Yanagita to the plate. He is 1 for 2 in this one. He's 2 for 9 in this series. He was the star of the series against the Lions. He takes a fastball down on the way, and the count is 1-0. He had a 3-run homer in the first game and a grand slam in the second game of the Lions series. He single-handedly was a wrecking ball against them. And there's a fastball swung on and missed. The count now goes to 1-1 on Yanagita. So 1 ball and 1 strike. And here comes the offering from the lefty Tajima. It's a breaking ball swung on and grounded foul over on the first base side. The count is now 1-2 to Yuki Yanagita. I was mentioning earlier, we're talking about Japanese players who probably would be or would have been good enough to play in the big leagues. And I circle Yanagita as one of those guys, the right fielder for the Hawks. He's 34 years old now, a little long in the tooth, as he misses with the fastball outside. The count goes even to 2-2 to Yanagita. But I think in his heyday, he would have been pretty good. I think he would have been a better player than Nori Aoki, who had parts of about 6 seasons in the big. And there's a fastball swung on it, is lined softly into center field. It's going to be a base hit. And Yanagita's got his second hit of the night to lead off the 6th inning, and that'll bring up the designated hitter, Alfredo Despania. Well, for Despania, he's 1 for 2 tonight. As we said, he's driven in 1 of the 2 runs scored. Friendly Montz says he's feeling stupid now that he didn't know the rules of what the ball, the strikes, and the outs. That's the way it goes sometimes. Mick says it's the first leg of his Australian 2-legger. That's his Australian basketball. There's a fastball swung on it, is lifted foul into the netting down the right field line. The count is 0-1 to Despania. So no balls and 1 strike. Despania had a pretty decent season this year. He Was able to slug 14 homers. And he missed quite a bit of the early going. There's a fastball that just misses inside, and the count's now 1-1. He missed quite a bit of early action early in the year. But he definitely has been able to rebound, and he is getting hot, or was getting hot at the right time for the Hawks. Rolling into the playoffs. Here's the 1-1 pitch. And it's a fastball that catches the inside corner. Runs the count to 1-2 strikes. The first pitch was a little bit inside, and that one there, the lefty Tajima just brought it over the plate. Was able to make that work for 1-2. Here comes the 1-2 offering as he kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball swung on in, grounded foul down the third base line. Keeps the count at 1-2 strikes. Our friend Shotgun Shell's in the house tonight. We welcome him back again. So 1-2 strikes to Despania. As the lefty Tajima holds at the belt. And now he kicks and fires. It's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is now 2-2. So 2 strikes. Mons wants to know, it's called first base, I assume, where the runner is, and that's what you're looking at. So 2 strikes now to Despania. Last night was a bit of a slug fest for me. As I mentioned, it was a real tough one to hang in there. There was a fastball swung on. It's lined into center field. Fukuoka moves to his right, and he makes the grab. That's going to retire Despania for the first out of the inning. That'll bring up the shortstop, Kenta Amamiya. They headed over to the coast. Had a 45-minute ferry ride each way and spent a little time just kicking around, exploring on a day off, and was working on about 2 hours of sleep trying to call that game last night. And I don't know if I did it successfully or not, but we'll have to go back and listen to it. It was a little bit of a haul, that was for sure. So 1 gone. Here comes Amamiya to the plate. He's 0 for 2 tonight. He's flown to right and grounded to first. And here comes the first offering from Tajima, who kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that's swung on and fouled away, and the count is quickly 0-1. Amamiya is still looking for his first hit here in the series. He is 0 for 6. Right-handed hitting shortstop, as we mentioned during the regular season, had a .296 batting average. But when the lights have come on for the playoffs, his bat has gone into the freezer. And here comes the 0-1 offering as the lefty kicks and fires. It's a fastball swung on. It is lined over to the third baseman, Mune, who makes the grab. He throws off one leg across the diamond to try to get Yanagita. But the throw is offline. Is going to be the second line drive and a spectacular catch this time by Mune to retire the shortstop. He'll feel hard done by about that one. He hit that ball hard. It's the second time in as many innings that Mune has had to make a grab, this time leaping to his right. And that is going to bring up the center fielder, Taisi Makihara. Friend Mick says, if you want to go and take a look, there's all kinds of videos, or at least there's some videos on YouTube that give you all the basics of baseball, at least the terminology nonetheless. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1 to Makihara. Makihara tonight is 0 for 2. He's flown to left and he grounded out in his 2 trips to the plate. And here comes the 1 strike offering to the left-handed hitting Makihara. As the lefty kicks and delivers, it's a fastball taken for a called strike. Counts 0-2. Boy, I'd like to see that one again because I think Makihara would as well. That pitch looked like it was a little bit low. But the lefty was able to get the call. That's some home cooking there. So no balls and 2 strikes as the lefty Tajima is hunting his third out of the inning. And the pitch is a fastball that just misses off the outside part of the plate. The count is now 1-2. Our friend Imant says he'll look, but NPB is different. Baseball is baseball. The standard rules are pretty much at every level. As there is a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count now goes to what remains at 1-2 to Makihara. There's going to be some nuances in different spots, like the ghost runner that's applied in extra innings in Major League Baseball, but that's not what you see in the Japanese League. They don't do that. There's other stuff that you'll see that goes on, but there's a breaking ball swung on and missed. And Makihara is down on strikes for out number 3, and that's going to do it here. So they waste a leadoff single by Yanagita. As the Hawks then go quietly in order, there was no runs, 1 hit, no errors. 1 runner left aboard. We are now moving to the bottom of the 6th inning. Your score is Fukuoka 2, Orix no score. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back with the call here in just a couple moments. Appreciate you guys for listening in with us. And our friend the hobbyist has poked his head in here tonight. We thank you for stopping in, Chris. We'll be back to chat with the chat in just a few minutes after this. And because Chris is in here, I figure we'll give everybody some bluegrass music because that's where he's from. Welcome back, everybody. It is Kodai Senga back out for his 6th inning of work. He has been absolutely outstanding in this one. He has retired everybody he's faced except for the single by Nakagawa in the 1st inning. And the first pitch he delivers to Kenya Wakatsuki is a breaking ball that misses up and in for ball 1. The count is 1-0. Our friend the hobbyist asked the question, are the Golden Eagles out already? Well, they didn't make the playoffs this time around. They didn't even get a sniff. There's a fastball that misses upstairs. The count is 2-1. They, for as good as they played at the beginning part of the season, they absolutely were a clunker of a ball club in the last half of the year. It was the Saitama Cebu Lions and the Hawks who squared off in the first round as there's a fastball that misses outside. The count's now 3-0 to Wakatsuki. But the Golden Eagles, they got to do something in the offseason about their pitching and more importantly, their bullpen as well. They got to get a little bit of work done over there. Not to mention that maybe their import players need to stay healthy. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. The count's 3-1. Chris Gittins, of course, missed quite a bit. We have a fella who's listening on Twitch. He says, thanks for broadcasting these games. I haven't been able to find a consistent way to watch Orix or any other NPB in the last few bit. That's Pop Tech. As there is a fastball that misses outside. That's going to be ball 4 to Wakatsuki. He is aboard with a base on balls, and that is going to bring up the shortstop Kotaro Kobayashi. Well, we appreciate you, Pop Tech, and hopefully you subscribe there. We spend most of our time on YouTube. And if you've got a YouTube handle, you should come and subscribe to the channel there. And we don't put a lot of I don't say we don't put a lot of work into Twitch. Not right now anyway. I've still got a lot of work to do on my YouTube stuff to get that into a position that we like. Well, that brings Kotaro Kobayashi to the plate. And the right-handed hitting shortstop is already squaring to bunt. Wakatsuki is the runner at first with nobody out here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. And there's a fastball that's bunted foul. It was popped up. It's going to reach the seats. Yeah, she did not do a good job of getting that one down. It's no balls and one strike. Our friend the hobbyist says he didn't think so. They never seemed to win a game. Yeah, certainly in the back half of the season, they really struggled. So here comes the 0-1 offering from Senga, who holds at the belt. Now he kicks and delivers. Again, another bunt and another one fouled right back to the backstop. Count is 0-2. Our friend Imants asked the question. He says, if the team runs out of batters in an inning, are the bases cleared? Now, you can bat around and you can bat as many times as you want until there's 3 outs. It's not like cricket. So in an inning, if you send 9 hitters to the plate and there's only 1 out, you can keep going. Just brings the first hitter back up again. Friend John Cardona says, not a fan of leadoff walks when the team that he's rooting against. Yeah, this is true. Or a fan of the under. Well, this game here was looking like an under all the way before it started. I know we had our friend Breathe Deep sent me a message earlier on. I don't see him in the chats tonight, but Breathe Deep sent me a message. Say, who you got tonight? I responded to him on our page. I got the Hawks and I got the under in this one. And right now the under is sure showing like it's going to be the case. I'm not sure what the actual line was. I want to see in some lines it was 5.5. And there is a breaking ball swung on. Kotaro Kobayashi had squared the bunt as if he was going to do it, and then he slashed it. That ball ended up going foul. The count remains at 0-2. They were trying to draw the infield in. So no balls and 2 strikes to Kobayashi. Don't forget, I'll throw this out there to everybody now, to bookmark the page when you can, and that way there it gives you an opportunity to come and listen to the ball games. And if you're so inclined, hit the notification bell, because whenever we pop up some of our shorts, there's a fastball that misses down. It's a good block by Kai. Not only did he block it, he literally kept it in front. And he ran it all the way out to the pitcher's mound. He took that ball right in the chest. It's going to be 1 ball and 2 strikes down to Kobayashi. I thought he looked like he was going to do a link in the 4x100 the way that he was racing out of there. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Kobayashi. On deck is the top of the order, Shuhei Fukuda. We'll see how this stands here, as he is again showing that he's squaring the bunt. The last 2 times he is pulled back. This time Senga throws over to first base. Well, the reality is with Kobayashi, it's probably his best opportunity is to show to bunt. He's definitely got one of those kind of guys that he needs to be able to square around and do it, because his bat doesn't necessarily play out. Imant says the under was 4.5. I thought it was 5.5 before the game started, but 4.5 might be the live money line update. And here's the 1-2 pitch. It's a breaking ball swung on and fouled away, and the count remains at 1-2 to Kobayashi. Well, he's starting to pose a bit of a problem here for Senga as he's giving him a battle. I would expect at this point 71 pitches for Senga. He should be able to go 8 innings, and I would think Levon Manello would come in to seal the deal. That's my guess anyway. Here comes the 1-2 offering now to the right-handed hitting Kobayashi. Again, he's showing bunt. I wonder why they're doing this with 2 strikes. I mean, I don't necessarily have a problem with that. John Cardona says he's 95% sure it was a 5.5 at pregame. I think you're right. I don't know if anybody would have the book at 4.5 before that. Mont says before the game, under was 7.5. I would have taken that all the way along. There's another split finger pitch swung on and fouled away. Counts 1-2. These two pitchers on the mound, if somebody's putting up 7.5, I should dive all over that one in a hurry. Speaking of 95%, I was reading the other day that when the team who has that 1-0 lead is spotted, the 1-0 lead gets the first win in the series, there's something like a 95 or 96% chance that they're going to win the series. And the last team to come back from who coughed up a 2-0 deficit was the Hiroshima Toyo Carp. It was a couple of years ago that they won their first game of the series. They were up 2-0, and then they ended up losing the series. I think that was in 2017, if I remember correctly. It doesn't happen all that often when a team goes down 2-0 that they're able to come back and win. So here comes the 1-2 from Senga. It's a fastball swung on. It's grounded to second. They go to second for one. Back to first. It's not in time. It's going to be a fielder's choice. Wakatsuki is going to be erased 4-6 for the first out of the inning. Kobayashi is safe at first on the back end. Good hustle down the line by the Buffalo shortstop, and that's going to bring the top of the order, Shuhei Fukuda, up. Shotgun Shell says he's got the under 7.5 and a live bet over 4.5. It's probably a good way in which to cover yourself or hedge your bet. So Fukuda steps in. He's 0 for 2 tonight. He's grounded to short and grounded to second. That way there you can mitigate your losses. If you end up losing one or the other or winning the other one, there's a very narrow window there that you'll be able to have. So that first pitch is a fastball that misses down, and the count is 1-0 to Fukuda. So 1 ball and no strikes. It'll be Mune to follow here in the 6th inning. Senga holds at the belt. He gets his sign. Now he's ready to deliver here to Fukuda. And the pitch is on the way. It's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count now goes to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. As we mentioned, if this series extends to tomorrow night, we will be back on the air again. Same time and same place. Looks like the Tigers have extended their lead to 3-0 in the bottom of the 5th. Against a group there. There's a fastball swung on it. Is grounded over to third on 1 hop. Fielded by the third baseman, Namuri. He goes to second for 1, back to first. And it's not in time. That's going to be a fielder's choice. As Fukuda runs well, he's going to reach safely. It erases Kobayashi 5-4. He is out for the second out of the inning, and that will bring up Yuma Mune to the plate. Just getting a look to see on the back end of the play. The play was not going to be in time. It did take the first baseman off of the base. They were able to get the lead out, and that's going to bring up Mune. Mune tonight is 0 for 2. He's grounded to second, and he has struck out looking in his 2 trips to the plate. And here's the first pitch. It is a fastball swung on. It is grounded through the 4-hole into right field. It's going to be a hit for Mune. He keeps his hitting streak alive. Trying to go to third is the runner, and that is Fukuda, and he's going to be gunned out. What a great throw by Yuki Yanagita, as he is going to roll him out for the third out of the inning. It's going to go down as a putout 9-5. And so Fukuda is gone for out number 3 after the single by Mune. Well, they had no runs in the inning. There was a hit. There was no errors and 1 runner left aboard. We are now through 6 complete. It is the Hawks 2 and the Buffaloes no score. Stick around, everybody. You never want to make the third out at third. And that's exactly what happened right there. That is the way that is going to do it. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be back in just a moment. Appreciate you guys for stopping in with us. Welcome back, everybody. We are just updating ourselves here as we're ready to go back to the action. And the first pitch that's delivered from Daiki Tajima to Tomoya Masaki is a fastball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1. Masaki tonight 0 for 2. He has flown to left and he has lined to the third baseman. As there is a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is now 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. I was trying to catch up on some of our stuff on the in-between. Friend John Cardona said, definitely expecting something there. I hit the F5 under 3 and been rooting for the Hawks the whole time. There's a fastball that is taken for a called strike, and the count is now 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Actually, he swung through that last pitch. I was trying to get myself some coffee on the in-between, but I wasn't quite quick enough. There was a fastball swung on. It's popped up over into right field. Moving back on it is Tongu, and he makes the catch. And that is going to retire Masaki for the first out of the inning. So 1 up and 1 away, and that is going to bring up Hisamu Nomura. Our friend Orlando Santos says he's got Hawks 3.5. Well, you're going to need a couple of more runs for that. But we welcome you for being here, Orlando. Thanks for stopping in tonight. So Nomura stepping to the plate. He is 0 for 2 tonight. He has flown to left and flown to right in his 2 trips. And here comes the offering from Tajima. It's a fastball that bounces up to the plate for ball 1, and the count is 1-0. Tajima's at 92 pitches right now, and I have to say probably has a good position to sniff the 8th inning. And here's the 1-0 offering. It is a fastball swung on and missed. The count is now 1-1. 1 ball and 1 strike. He will not see action again until the next round if the Buffaloes are to make it. There's the pitch. It's a fastball that misses down and away, and the count is now 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike. The lefty holds at the belt. And now he kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on and missed. The count goes even to 2-2 on Nomura. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Again, the lefty working quickly, and he kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses down and away, and the count is now 3-2 to Nomura. 3 balls and 2 strikes. I was thinking of something the other day, and this is a kind of an interesting topic, something that should be looked at. There's a fastball that swung on. It's lifted into deep right field, moving back on the warning track, looking up, and this one is gone. A home run by Nomura. It's the 3rd run of the ball game for the Hawks, as it's a solo shot here in the 7th inning. As he rounds the bases, our friend Orlando, who popped in, pounding his fist, saying he's got the Hawks by 3.5. He's going to like that one. He just needs 1 more. And that'll give him the spread that he's looking for. And now that's going to bring up the catcher, Takuya Kai. So Shotgun Shell, I know who's been in our stream here. He's a pretty intelligent baseball guy. And I know John Cardona also listens in. And I want to give you guys a thought. I don't have the answer to this, but it's something that I want you guys to think about, because I was thinking about it with regards to pitchers. And there's a fastball that swung on and fouled away, and the count is quickly 0-1 to Takuya Kai. I think of the sport of tennis, and I think of a tennis player when he is using his shoulder when he swings. And usually in the big tournaments, they play every other day. And what I'm thinking about this is when a tennis player serves, there's a fastball that is taken for a called strike, and the count is now 0-2 to Takuya Kai. How many serves in a game would a tennis player have in an average set? And I'm not saying 3, 4, or 5, especially in a Grand Slam event. How many serves they have, and the wear and tear on the shoulder in tennis is a big thing. There's a fastball that misses outside. The count is 1-2. So if you've got a baseball pitcher where they limit him to approximately 100 pitches in a ball game, plus his warm-up pitches on the in-between and his bullpen work pregame, he could throw possibly 200 to 250 pitches. There's a fastball that misses down. They appeal over to the first base umpire, and that is going to run the count to 2-2. Our friend Iman says Amont says 40 serves or more. There's got to be way more than that, because you figure in a set at the bare minimum, if it's a 6-love set, they're probably going to have, at least in a Grand Slam event, you're going to have a minimum of 12 serves in each set. So that's 36. That's assuming that your opponent doesn't win a point. There's a fastball swung on, and it's grounded through up the middle, and that's going to be a base hit for Kai. So back-to-back hits here in the 7th inning. That's going to bring up the top of the order in Masaki Momori. It's also going to bring the pitching coach out of the Buffalo dugout, as he's coming out to have a word with Tajima. And it looks like, I wonder if they're going to call for the baseball. That is going to be it for the night. And it looks like that's exactly what it's going to be. As the manager is coming out, we're going to have ourselves a pitching change, as Nakajima has seen enough. So hang tight, everybody. We'll be right back, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. So about a tennis player and how many serves he has. What's the difference between that and a pitcher? Obviously, it's the same type of thing. You're using your shoulder, you're using your elbow. And how does that work? We'll be right back in just a few. After this, we'll give you that pitching change. Welcome back, everybody. We have a pitching change on our hands here, and we are going to be giving you guys, we just went and grabbed ourselves our coffee, so we're a little bit slow coming back to here. And it is going to be the right-hander into the ball game. It looks like, if I'm not mistaken, this looks like it could be Honda. But I'm just going to go and double check that for everybody here. We will get you the update here as we have it. It does look like it's Honda. It's pretty good. I'm starting not only to recognize the players without looking at their jerseys and their numbers, it's the facial recognition. So Honda on in relief here of Tajima. He's facing Masaki Momori, and the first pitch to Momori is a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. So Momori tonight is a 1 for 2 officially. He's got a double, a strikeout, and he had that sacrifice his last time up. So he is 2 for 10 in this series. He's waiting on the offering here from the right-hander Honda. He kicks and delivers. There's a fastball that misses, and the count is now 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. The pitch was just a little bit on this. Hitomi Honda is the pitcher. This is in the regular season. He had worked 42 games, had a 2-3 record. He had a couple of saves. He worked 43 and 2/3 innings, allowing 39 hits, 16 walks, struck out 40. And he had an ERA of 3.5. So he is a youngster. There's a breaking ball that misses, and the count now goes to 2-1 on Momori. So I was just thinking about that in the last half inning, about how many serves a tennis player might have. Shotgun Shell says maybe 157 on average. I'm thinking maybe close to 200, possibly in a 5-set match, because you also got to throw in the fact you got double faults. There's a fastball swung on and missed. They've got the runner hung up, Kai between first and second. And this is going to be boy, Kai's moving pretty good for a catcher. And he has been caught stealing. It's a second base running gaff, I would say, or whatever they had going on here. And it was interesting because he's been caught stealing. So I'm not sure. Let's see if we can get the put out here. He took off to go. Mamori swung a miss. Must have been a hit and run. So that's going to go as the old fashioned 1, 2, 6, 3, 4 double play. Or sorry, not double play, caught stealing. 1, 2, 6, 3, and 4 on the putout for out number 2. And here is the pitch to Mamori, and it's a fastball fouled away, and the count is going to remain at 2-2. All right. Well, we appreciate you for stopping in there, Chris. Thank you for stopping in. And we're playing a little bit of old school rap music. So Imanis says between 30 and 40 times a set, there's a fastball that is swung on and missed, and Mamori has gone on strikes. He is out for out number 3, and that is going to retire him for the third out of the inning. But they did get the run on the homer by Nomura. 1 run, 1 hit. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We're now through 6.5. It is the Hawks 3 and the Buffaloes no score. I'm just going to stick around here for a couple minutes because I'm going to give you some of that stuff. Our friend Shotgun Shell says females serve 96 times per match because they only play 3 sets. I would think the men would probably be at about a 2/3 rate more, probably 150 times. So you figure throwing a pitch is very similar to a serve in tennis because you're using a lot of the same things. And I think, I don't know for sure, but I think probably the UCL, the Tommy Johns would be far less common, but could occur in tennis, but maybe not quite because you don't have the strain on the breaking balls like you do, or the split finger pitches with the tendons being moved apart as you would in, for example, the sport of baseball. But when you think about it, if a tennis player can serve 150 times a game, why can't a pitcher in baseball have 150 pitches in a ball game? I guess that's the point that I'm getting to, is the use of a tennis player and making that comparison to the use of a baseball player. What's the difference? They're both going with that overhand motion. I'd be kind of curious to know how that would work out. Anyways, we'll take about 30 seconds and come on back, and we'll give you the call in the bottom half of the inning, but that's just food for thought. I was thinking about that tonight. I'm like, why are we taking pitchers out at 100 pitches if tennis players can go for 150? We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody. Our friend John Cardona says that he equates pitchers or equates tennis players who have double faults like walks in baseball. True, if you say that, I think that's a fairly good analogy or a good comparison. Which is a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is 0-1 here to Nakagawa. And here's the 0-1 pitch. It is a breaking ball that misses outside, and the count is 1-1. Nakagawa, Yoshida, and Nishino here to face the right-hander Senga in the 7th inning. As we are ready to go here. And here's the pitch. It is a fastball that is swung on, and it is lifted foul into the seats, and the count is now 1-2 strikes. It looks like they do have a change. It looks like it's Kawase in at first base now for the Fukuoka Ball Club. He is a defensive replacement. Our friend Shotgun Shell says that pitcher's elbow is affected on the inside. And there's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into right field, and Nakagawa's got his second hit of the ball game. And that is exactly the third hit now of the ball game for the Buffaloes, and Nakagawa's got 2 of them. But that's not totally true, Shotgun Shell, that the inside are affected. The outside is affected too. And I'll give you an example. If you are somebody who throws a lot of sliders. And here comes the manager. They got the trainer out there with them. They're checking on Kodai Senga. This is the pitching coach and the trainer. I think they're doing a check. They got the umpire with them. And let's see what they have to say. I think that Senga is trying to say that he's going to be all right, but they may have to go to the bullpen and make a pitching change here. And if that is the case, and they're on the phone, they're making a call quickly. If Senga's day is done, and this could change the dynamic here a little bit. It's a little too soon for the Hawks to be going to the pen. But Senga's walking off the mound with the trainer. His day is over. We'll be back here in just a second. Maybe Senga's got an issue with this elbow, but I just want to give a couple of thoughts on that to our friend Shotgun Shell. Inside the elbow, you're looking at the Tommy John. Outside the elbow, the old-fashioned tennis elbow. So somebody throws a lot of sliders or a lot of breaking stuff. Could be on the back side where the tendon is actually attached to the elbow. I know that from personal experience. So that would be more along the line of the tennis elbow that people would often refer that to, inflammation of that tendon. But the ulnar collateral ligament, certainly on the inside, that is where that is going to be something that's going to be looked at. So I think on both sides, whether it be for the baseball player or the tennis player, similar type of motion, you're going to get both. Well, hang on, everybody. We'll be back in just a few minutes. We have a pitching change. It looks like it's going to be an extended break, as they'll give the pitcher as much time as he needs, as Kodai Senga's day is done at 6 innings plus at 81 pitches. So interesting that he is coming out of the ball game. I'm sure it's not the way that he wanted this one to end for him. We'll be right back in just a few, everybody. We appreciate you guys for listening in with us again tonight. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be Shin Kayama coming into the ball game, and he's going to be facing the left-handed hitting Masataka Yoshida. Shinya Kayama, the veteran lefty, is really more of a situational pitcher more than anything else. Worked 56 games this year. He had 27 in the third innings, 18 hits. He walked 11 and struck out 22, and he had an ERA of 0.99, one of the best years of his NPB career. So he is taking over here. So Shinya Kayama, and his job is to get Masataka Yoshida out. I'd be surprised if he faced much more than one or two batters, as he probably will face Nishino, and then his day will be done. So that is who is facing here. It is Shinya Kayama on in relief. And he is going to be facing, as we said, Masataka Yoshida, who tonight is 0 for 2. He is grounded to second, and he has lined to third in his 2 trips to the plate. So the left-handed hitting Yoshida steps in, and we got John Lawson in the house. Appreciate you for being here. And the first pitch is a fastball swung on it. It's grounded over to first. They go to second for one. Back to first. It is not in time. Yoshida was able to get down the line there pretty quickly. And that is a fielder's choice. It's going to erase Nakagawa 3-6. As he is gone over here for out number 1. Yoshida is the base runner at first. And that is going to bring up the second baseman, Masahiro Nishino. Shotgun Shell says he came across an article, and he says there's a lot of differences between throwing a baseball and serving a tennis ball. One guy who specializes in shoulder capsules, if you're while we're on the Google hunt and talking about this a little bit, there's a shoulder guy, and he's also works with a lot of pitchers. His name is Eric Cressy. And I'm sure some of his findings would be very interesting, but he also talks about the need for having strong shoulder capsules, as there's a breaking ball delivered to Nishino that's taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Nishino tonight is 0 for 2. He's grounded to first and also grounded to second. He is now 0 for 4 in the playoffs for the Buffaloes. He does, however, have a couple RBIs. He's looking for his first hit of the series. But as I mentioned before, it's Eric Cressy talks about the need for strengthening the shoulder in both of the activities. There are some pitching coaches that don't necessarily appreciate his pitching advice, but they can appreciate how he talks about strengthening the shoulder capsule area. Mr. Rono asked the question, he says, is Tommy John surgery common among NPB pitchers? There are players in the NPB who have had Tommy John. There's a fastball that misses outside. The count's 1-1. But the fact of the matter is that some of the overall players just don't throw hard enough. And I think that's part and parcel of it. You start to see the pitcher's arms break down as they throw harder. And there is the 1-1 pitch. It is a fastball swung on. This ball is belted into right field. It's going to get over the head of Yanagita. It's up against the wall. Rounding second and heading to third, and now slamming on the brakes around third is Yoshida, as he's going to be held there. It's going to be a double for Nishino, a timely hit for him. That's going to put runners at second and third with only one gone, and it's going to bring up the big fella Yataro Sugimoto. And not only is it going to bring up Sugimoto, it's also bringing the pitching coach out of the dugout, as he has seen enough. The left-hander Kayama had retired one out, but that is going to be all for him tonight, as they're going to be making a pitching change are the Hawks. Everything has all kind of gone sideways once the starter has left the ball game, as they now have runners at second and third with Sugimoto coming to the plate. We're going to have to take a break here as we have a pitching change. We'll be back in just a couple moments. Appreciate you guys for being here. We'll talk more about that Tommy John stuff in the Japanese League when we get back in a moment. Welcome back, everybody. It is a pitching change, and the Hawks are turning to their right-hander. It is their workhorse, one of their workhorses out of the pen. It is Yuki Matsumoto. He is coming into the ball game. He, on the regular season, had worked 44 ball games. He had a 5-1 record. He had 50 2/3 innings. He allowed 40 hits, 14 walks, and 60 strikeouts. He had an ERA of 2.66. So he is going to be the third pitcher used tonight now by the Hawks. Now that Kodai Senga has departed. Senga had only thrown 81 pitches upon his departure, so it'll be interesting to see the rationale was why they took him out when they did. But it is Matsumoto on in relief. As we mentioned, it looks like a more healthy crowd for this one in Osaka. And I would think as the series got a little deeper, they probably would have a little bit more. So our friend asked the question, are there more Tommy John surgeries in Japan, and who have they been? That's a good question to that. They talk about doing different studies of the kids and how they throw. But I haven't been able to land anything there. I know there used to be, once upon a time, where Wikipedia had a list of Tommy John surgeries of the major league players. They also had a list of surgeries for the NPB players as well. So I'm not sure exactly if they still do some of that stuff. It was interesting. You can have Tommy John surgery, and it's not just restricted to pitchers. Positional players have had Tommy John surgery, and they've gone out, and you end up seeing where some of that stuff has taken place. So here comes the first offering to Sugimoto as Matsumoto is ready to go to work. He kicks and fires. It's a fastball that misses upstairs for ball one, and the count is 1-0. Sugimoto is in scoring position when he steps into the batter's box. And that is where it is at. I'm just looking here. They got former Toronto Blue Jays. Matt Dermody was a pitcher who's playing in the Korean League, and he had Tommy John surgery. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he also had a cup of coffee this year with the Chicago Cubs. Another guy who had TJ. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. The fastball swung on it. It's grounded over to third. They check the runner back to third. They go to first. Nice play there by the third baseman, Namura. He fielded the ball. He froze the runner, Yoshida, at third base. And it was a good job by Yoshida. We've been critical about his base running. It was the right decision not to go. That's going to go down as a ground out 5-3. That's going to race Sugimoto for the second out of the inning. It is status quo as the runners are still at second and third, and it brings up Yuma Tongu to the plate. Well, for Tongu, he is 0 for 2 tonight. He struck out looking and grounded to second in his 2 trips to the plate. Our friend Shotgun Shell talks about they're going deep in this article. They force equals mass times acceleration, talking about kinetic chain and all that stuff. Yeah, that would be interesting, especially. And one thing that would be very interesting to note is when there's a disconnect in the throwing motion. And a disconnect means is the timing of how the arm and everything is working and the rest of the body. And there's a fastball that misses inside, and the count is 1-0. You often teach youngsters when they get the foot strike, they want to get into that so-called power L position, because then the shoulder and everything is all moving together in that one motion. But you'll sometimes see kids that their timing in their lower half isn't very good. They are maybe too slow to get the arm moving. Maybe they are at foot strike when the ball is down low, and then they have to turn and flip and push. Puts a lot of strain into the shoulder. Also, too, if they're a little bit loose or their elbow drops and it becomes strain into the elbow, there's a fastball swung on it, missed. And the count now is 1-1 to Tongu. So there are some different factors that come into play on that. And there's no correct or necessarily one answer. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Tongu as he bats here with 2 away and 2 on in the bottom of the 7th inning. Minus asks if there's a pitcher with a metal arm. I think there's a bunch of pitchers who played with rubber arms, but no metal arms. Here's the pitch. It's a fastball that swung on and missed, and the count is now 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. This game will become a whole lot more interesting if they are able, the Buffaloes, to cash in these 2 runs. It is a 3-0 lead for the Hawks here as it stands in the 7th inning. So Matsumoto gets his sign from his catcher, Kai. As he holds at the chest, and now he's ready to deliver. And the 1-2 pitch. Is on the way, and it's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count remains at 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Just as a note, we will be back on the airwaves tomorrow if the Hawks win this one. We'll bring to you the Hawks and the Buffaloes once again tomorrow night in the middle of the night. 2 a.m. Pacific or 5 a.m. Eastern, and if it is a comeback by the Buffaloes, then the way it's looking is we will probably be doing that other game. It is currently a similar scoreline in the Jinju Stadium in Tokyo. It is in the top of the 7th as well. It's 3-0 for the Tigers. So 1 ball and 2 strikes as the right-hander holds, and now he delivers. It is a fastball swung on. It is popped up behind second base. Moving in behind it is Imamiya. He waves everybody off. He makes the catch. That is going to retire Tongu for the 3rd out of the inning. That will do it here for the Buffaloes in their half. They had no runs in the inning. There were a couple of hits. There were no errors and 2 runners left the board. We are now through 7 complete. It is the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks 3 and the Orix Buffaloes no score. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a few. Appreciate you guys for being here with us. We'll be back to chat with our chat after this. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the 2, 3, and 4 hitters in the batting order to come to bat for the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks. That means it's going to be Yukio Shudo, Yuki Yanagita, and Alfredo De Spagna. We'll have to get a look to see what is happening here in the, if it is going to be a pitching change for the Buffaloes, but it's not, as Honda is still in the ball game. So he is ready to face Shudo, on the first pitch is a fastball swung on and grounded foul over on the first base side. The count is quickly 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Shudo today had reached on an error in the first inning. He scored the 2nd run of the ball game. He's also grounded to the pitcher and grounded to second. As Honda holds set at the belt, he raises to his chest, and now he kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that bounces up to the plate. Count is now 1 ball and 1 strike. So 1 ball and 1 strike it is to Yukio Shudo. Our friend Charles Raw in here says, who will win? Well, right now it is the Hawks winning, and that's who we had tonight at the top of the stream. As there's a fastball that is swung on and hit to left field. Coming in is Yoshida, who makes the catch. That is going to retire Shudo for the 1st out of the inning. 1 up and 1 away. Brings up Yuki Yanagita. Yanagita tonight has a couple of hits and 3 trips. He's also grounded back to the pitcher, so 2 singles and his 3 trips to the plate. He is now on the series 3 for 10. And he is coming off a fantastic series against the Saitama Cebu Lions. He had driven in 7 runs in those 2 games that they played. Here's a fastball that misses inside to Yanagita, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. John Cardona said maybe somebody mentioned it, but tennis player will wear down faster as they rely on high-powered aces to win matches. As there's a fastball swung on and fouled away. I mean, possibly could be the case, but I don't see that. I'd be curious to know, even with tennis players, with baseball pitchers, you want to see if a pitcher comes out, if he's sitting on 97 in the 1st inning, what's he sitting on in the 5th? How much velo does he lose over time? There's a fastball that misses upstairs. The count's now 2-1. Same thing if you got a guy who's at 92 miles an hour, can he sustain that for 6 or 7 innings? As he start losing velocity, do you have to pull him out? Well, same thing with a tennis player. If a tennis player is serving the ball at 150 kilometers an hour, are they sitting on that for the whole game, or do they lose velocity? There's a split finger pitch swung on and missed. Counts now 2-2 to Yanagita. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. There's 1 gone here in the top of the 8th inning. Alfredo Despania is going to wait his turn on deck. Here comes the 2-2 offering. As he kicks and delivers, it's a fastball that is just going to miss inside. Boy, it looked like that could have been strike 3, and Yanagita gets lucky. They didn't quite get the home cooking there. That pitch on the replay looked pretty good. We don't always get a great angle because it is a bit offset, so it's hard to judge. Maybe the overhead angle would be the best. So here's the 3-2 pitch. It is a split finger pitch that is taken for ball 4. Yanagita did a good job of holding off on that one. He is aboard with a walk, and that's going to bring up the DH, Alfredo Despania. So 1 gone here in the 8th inning. Despania striding to the plate, looking to pad the lead here as it is a 3-0 lead for the Hawks. Despania in this one has got a single in 3 trips. He's also lined to second and flown out to center field. And the first pitch is a split finger pitch that misses down for ball 1. The count is 1-0. Might be my read for the next little bit is to do a little research about the shoulders of the tennis players and how they hold up versus the shoulders of the pitchers. Here comes the 1-0. There's a split finger pitch that swung on and missed, and the count goes even to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Be fascinated how that would play out. So here comes the 1-1 as the right-hander holds set and now delivers. It's a fastball taken for a called strike. Count goes to 1-2 on Despania. He certainly didn't hit his spot, Honda. He was looking to, they wanted the pitch, or Watsuki wanted the pitch inside. That pitch was actually on the outside part of the plate. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. As Honda kicks and delivers, it's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count remains at 1-2. So 1-2 to Despania. As we mentioned, we're hoping that we can get back for more action again tomorrow. And if we are doing the games here, then be sure to bookmark us and join us for all the action again tomorrow night. Tomorrow would be another interesting ball game, as we would now be looking at a potential comeback for the Hawks in the series, as that fastball swung out and fouled away, and the count remains at 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes it is. So Honda gets his sign from Wakatsuki. This is going to be his 21st pitch, and now time has been called. As Alfredo Despania has requested it, the home plate umpire walks out as he puts the brakes up on there for the young right-hander from the Orix Buffaloes. And here's the pitch. It is a split-figure pitch, swung on and missed. And Despania is retired for the 2nd out of the inning. That's going to leave it up to the shortstop, Kenta Amamiya. Well, for Amamiya, he's 0 for 3 tonight. He has flown to right, grounded to first, and lined out to the third baseman. So 0 for 3 for Kenta Amamiya. And he's 0 for 7 on the series now. The first offering is on the way. It is a breaking ball swung on and fouled away, and the count is quickly 0-1. Amamiya, as we said, had a pretty good regular season where he hit 296. He was flirting with the 300 mark for quite a bit of the year, one of his better seasons offensively in the NPB. As Imamia steps out of the box, as he asked for time, and now we're ready to resume. Here comes the one-strike pitch from Honda. It's a breaking ball, swung on, and it's lined right to the shortstop. And Kobayashi makes the catch and look easy, and that will be the third out of the inning. There was no runs in the inning. There were no hits, no errors, and there was one runner left aboard. We're now moving to the bottom of the eighth inning. It is a 3-0 ball game as the Buffaloes are coming to bat. They got to try to find some instant runs if they want to get back into this one. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody. We have a pitching change as it is going to be Fuji coming on in relief. I'm just taking a look here. This is something that I'm finding interesting. I want to see just some quick notes here. If the right-hander here was used, I don't see Fuji in game one of the series, but Fuji was definitely used last night. So back-to-back nights for the right-hander. We're talking about pitchers and arm usage and that type of stuff. And one of the things that I had mentioned before in some of our streams, that there was a fella named Don Cooper who was the pitching coach for the Chicago White Sox. And I'd had the privilege of listening to him talk in Perrysburg, Ohio, a number of years ago. And he was talking about how he would use the White Sox bullpen, where if he had guys used, he would use them. He could use them on back-to-back days, but if he went back-to-back days, he wouldn't use them the third day. If he used them one day, then he didn't use them the next. He would never let them go more than 2 days in a row without throwing a side session in the bullpen. So you got to make sure that you got your guys and they're sharp. There's the first pitch from Fuji. It's a fastball that misses down and away, and the count is 1-0. So tonight, Fuji goes on back-to-back nights. So if you're subscribing to that theory, we won't see Fuji tomorrow. So here's the 1-0. It's a fastball swung on and missed, and the count now goes to 1-1. Our friend John says that has to be. There's a lot of science and mechanics. I've also heard the former pitching coach for the Oakland Athletics, Mets, and the Orioles speak, and that would be the jacket, Rick Peterson. There's a fastball swung on. It's popped up into foul territory. It's playable, and Kawase is going to make the catch, and that's going to do it for Wakatsuki for out number one. So one up and one away, and that'll bring up Katara Kobayashi. Our friend John Cardona says the Joba rules, if anybody remembers that, that's Joba Chamberlain that he's referring to, I'm pretty sure. But back to John Cardona, we're talking about how the mechanics play into it. And they absolutely do. We have a pinch hitter here for Katara Kobayashi. It's going to be T. Okada as he is coming into the fray. So we do expect another shortstop in the next inning. I would think Ryo Adachi will be coming in. Okada did get the start in the second game of the series last night. And he was, in that ball game, he was 0 for 4. He takes a first pitch for a strike, and the count is quickly 0-1. So no balls and one strike to Okada. And here's the pitch. It is a fastball swung on, and it's tap foul over on the first base side. And the count is 0-2. John Cardona says a slower game checking the runners could also wear a pitcher down a little bit. Not sure about that one. I know I was just starting to talk about Rick Peterson a bit. Rick Peterson used to talk about red flags and pitchers' deliveries where there was. And of course, Mark Pryor was supposed to have had the perfect delivery once upon a time. And there's a fastball swung on and missed. And Okada goes down on strikes for the second out of the inning. 2 out, and that brings the top of the order up in Shuhei Fukuda. Fukuda tonight 0 for 3. He has bounced into a fielder's choice. He has also grounded to second and grounded to short. So Rick Peterson used to talk about the timing of the pitchers, and I always talk about it to the young kids. It's the timing and the rhythm of how you take the ball out of your glove, where you get to when you're at foot strike, how your arm needs to be working in a similar motion to your lower half. The more symmetry that you have, the cleaner your movements, the better it will be for you for your own personal health and survival. There's a fastball that swung on and fouled away, and the count now goes to 1-1 on Fukuda. So 1 ball and 1 strike. But that is sometimes easier said than done. You got a lot of pitchers who have different types of throwing styles and throwing motions, and that's why certain guys in the big leagues end up as relievers as opposed to starters because of how their arm works. So 1 ball and 1 strike. And here's the offering. It's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count is now 1-2. Guy with cleaner mechanics who has good velocity. Obviously has got a chance to have a longer and healthy career. Guys who typically wind up at the bullpen, they've got some funky movements on their pitches. They can still throw hard. They can still throw with movement. But they can't roll them out there every 5th day to take the ball to be a starting pitcher. Arm just wouldn't be able to sustain it. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Fukuda. As the right-hander Fuji kicks and delivers. It's a split-finger pitch, misses down. They appeal over to the third base umpire. They say that Fukuda didn't go, and it's going to run the count to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Maybe what we should do is run a full series of talks and talking about Tommy John. I bet we'd have a heck of an audience with a lot of people that would be interested. That subject could get very, very deep very quickly. So here's the 2-2 pitch. As Fuji delivers a split-finger pitch that bounces up to the plate. It's going to run the count now to 3-2 on Fukuda. The one thing we haven't seen a lot of, in fact, at all in this one, other than from the one batter in the 6th inning, are walks. The Buffaloes have only got 1 walk on my scorecard tonight, and that makes a huge difference in the ball game, that is for sure. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. As the righty kicks and delivers, it's a fastball swung on and grounded foul over on the first base side. The count remains at 3-2. We're moving into the deep water in this one as we're in the bottom of the 8th inning. 2 gone for the Buffaloes. Fukuda chokes up off the end of the bat. And he's ready here on the offering now for the right-hander Fuji, who gets his sign. And now he kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on. This ball is lined into left center field. It's going to get down for a base hit. Cutting it off is the center fielder. And that is a nice job there by Taisi Makihara to go to his right to cut it off. It's going to hold Fukuda to a single. And that is going to bring up the third baseman, Yuma Mune. Well, for Mune tonight, he is 1 for 3. He's going to try to keep the conga line moving here. On the series is 3 for 11. So Mune batting here with 2 gone in the 8th inning, and the runner Fukuda at first base. Hey, we got another bot in here, so it's time to shoot the bot down. That's 2 nights in a row that we've had bots in the house. And the bot has been eliminated. So no bots, no more. So here comes the pitch. It's a fastball swung on. It's Grounded over to third. A nice play by the third baseman, Nomura, who throws on the run, and he's going to retire Mune on a ground out 5-3. What a play by the third baseman. He had to charge it hard, fielded the ball, came up throwing, and he's able to retire the runner for the third out of the inning. And that is going to do it here for the Buffaloes in their half of the eighth. They had no runs. There was no hits, no errors, but there was a runner left aboard. We're now through 8 complete. And we're moving to the 9th inning. It is a 3-0 scoreline for the Hawks. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back after this. We'll see if we get more bots. Welcome back, everybody. It is a 3-0 score line. We are going to be going to the bottom or the top of the 9th inning as we are a little bit behind on our ticker, and we'll get that updated for you. We'll be back in just a few after this. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving to the top of the 9th inning. It's going to be the 6, 7, and 8 hitters in the batting order coming up for the Hawks. It means Taisi Makihara, Tomoya Masaki, and Isamu Nomura scheduled to come to bat. And we do have a pitching change for the Buffaloes. It is going to be number 54 coming into the game. That means it is going to be Kuroki. So this is Yuta Kuroki coming into the game. He has worked 28 games in the regular season. He was 2-2. He did have a save. He worked 26 2/3 innings, allowing 20 hits, 9 walks. He struck out 21. He had an ERA of 2.36. So that is what we have here. So he is coming here. And it is going to be Makihara coming to face him. The first pitch is a fastball swung on. It is popped up into shallow center field. Coming over underneath it is Fukuda. He's going to make the catch. And with one pitch, we have one away. That is going to bring up the first baseman, Tomoya Masaki. So Yuta Kuroki is the reliever here. And that for the Buffaloes is going to be pitcher number 3 used tonight, as he is following Honda. And here comes the first offering from Kuroki. It is a fastball that misses inside. And the count is 1 ball and no strikes. So here comes the 1-0 pitch. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. The count is now 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. To Tomoya Masaki, and the pitch is a fastball that misses outside, and the count is now 2-1. 2 balls and 1 strike it is. It's actually Kawase who is in here, as he is the pinch hitter at this point. He had come in to replace Masaki. So we'll make that change in our book here, as there is a fastball swung on and fouled away over on the third base side, and the count is now 2-2. He came in defensively an inning or so ago to replace the starter Masaki. We've seen Kawase play this year. He has played third base. He's played some shortstop. He's been all over the infield. I don't remember at second base, though. There's a fastball swung on it. It's grounded up the middle, and it's going to get through for a base hit. As Kawase has got himself a 1-out single. And that is going to bring up the third baseman, Isamu Nomura. I would have thought that the Hawks might have changed some karma. They're wearing their black tops again tonight for the third night in a row. I would have thought that they may have gone with a different look. But no such luck tonight. So the base hit up the middle by Kawase has bringing Nomura to the plate. And here's the first pitch. It is a split finger pitch. It misses down for ball one. The count is 1-0. Holding his ground is Kawase over there at first base. So 1 ball and no strikes. Nomura bats from the left side with the runner at first. It's 1 ball and no strikes here. And here comes the offering from the right-hander who kicks and delivers. It's a split finger pitch swung on and fouled away, and the count goes even at 1-1. Takuya Kai is going to be the hitter who waits his turn on deck. Should Nomura reach safely? So Kawase gets his lead over at first. He's got 1 foot on the turf and 1 on the dirt. He's waiting here on the 1-1 offering is Nomura. He kicks and delivers. It's a split finger pitch swung on and missed. The count is now 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Hawks have a 3-0 lead here in the top of the 9th inning as the right-hander is ready to deliver again. And here comes the offering now from Kuroki, who kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on and missed. And Nomura is gone for the second out of the inning. So 2 away, and that is going to bring up Takuya Kai. Well, Kai has had an outstanding series in this one so far. Tonight, he has been on base all 3 times. He's got a walk, he's got a double, and a single. And on the series, he is 5 for 9. So a pretty good start for his playoffs. As he steps in here, ready to face the right-hander Kuroki. Kai is waiting here on the offering. He's 5 for 11 in the playoffs in total. So here comes the offering from the right-hander who kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses down for ball 1. Count is 1-0. One would think that Takuya Kai would have to take a bullet to come out of the game. He is quite the gamer, and he has played very, very well. His season average does not reflect maybe the value that he brings to the club. He only hit 180, but it was his presence behind the plate that makes the difference. So here comes the 1-0 pitch. And it is a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count is now 2-0 to Kai. If you're going to get beat, you want it to be Takuya Kai to beat you. Make him swing the bat. So 2 balls and no strikes. As Kai is waiting here on the offering from the right-hander Kuroki, who holds at the belt. And now he kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count is now 2-1. We'll say this, Takuya Kai has got himself run out into a couple of situations today. He was out on a suicide squeeze attempt over at third base, and then he got himself into a pickle when he was trying to steal second back in the 7th inning. There's a fastball swung on. It's grounded foul over on the third base side. The count is now 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. And Kai is going to walk over, and I think he's going to have to get himself a new piece of lumber, as that one looks like it was probably broken in the fray. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Takuya Kai. We're getting into that time of the night. I got to tell you, even For myself, it's starting to be a little bit of a challenge to keep the eyes open as we're approaching 5 o'clock Pacific or 8 a.m. on the East Coast of North America. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. As Kuroki kicks and delivers, it's a breaking ball swung on and missed. And Kai goes down on strikes. He is out for out number 3, and we're going to be coming back here in just a moment with the bottom of the 9th inning. Well, for the Hawks in their half of the inning, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and a 1 runner left aboard. As we move to the bottom of the 9th, your score is 3-0. I just have a feeling we're going to see a Levon Manello sighting. We'll be back in a minute to confirm it right after this. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving to the bottom of the 9th inning. It is going to be Levon Manello, not to my surprise, coming into the ball game. We'll be back in just a couple moments as we will give you all the action. He's completing his warm-up tosses. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the 3, 4, and 5 hitters to face Levon Manello here in the 9th inning. That means Kai Nakagawa, Masataka Yoshida, and Masahiro Nishino, as he will be facing those hitters here. It's a 2-for-3 ball game for Nakagawa tonight. He has 2 of the 5 hits for the Buffaloes, as he is ready to face Manello for the first time. And here comes the first offering and the first pitch. It is a fastball swung on and missed. The count is quickly 0-1 to Nakagawa. I often refer to Manello here as a bit on the undersized. I think if I remember correctly, he's about 5'8". Maybe I would call him a left-handed version of Marcus Stroman. Stroman's a little bit more stockier as there's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is now 0-2. Wholesale changes for the Hawks. They have Kawase has moved over to third. I didn't get to see who that was at first base. So they do have some defensive changes now in the lineup. So here comes the 0-2 pitch from Manello. It's a fastball that zings up past the light tower of the hitter of Nakagawa, and the count is now 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. And here's the offering from Manello. It's a slider that misses down in the back foot. The count is now 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes it is. So it looks like Akira Nakamura has moved over to, or is into play at first base, while Kawase is moved over to third. Nakamura has come in for Nomura. There's a fastball swung on, and it is fouled away. The count remains at 2 balls and 2 strikes. So the Buffaloes are down to their final 3 outs in this one, as the Hawks have a 3-0 lead here in the 9th inning. And waggling the bat, waiting on the offering here is the right-handed hitting Nakagawa. And here's the pitch. It is a breaking ball that misses down and in. The count is now 3-2. I forget who it was earlier said they had the 3.5 was the over-under in this one. Well, you're not going to get that. As it is in all likelihood, the Hawks are not coming to bat again. So here comes the 3-2 offering to Nakagawa. As Mainella delivers, it's a breaking ball swung on and missed. And Nakagawa has gone on strikes for the first out of the inning, and that's going to bring up the left fielder Masataka Yoshida. Well, for Yoshida, he is 0 for 3 tonight. He's bounced into a fielder's choice. He's lined to third, and he's grounded to second. Our friend John Cardona said 3.5 was for the first 5. No, I don't think it was the 3.5. I think the 3.5 was that he was the spread on the game, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think it was that. John said, I actually forgot the tennis question. There's a fastball that misses inside, and the count is 1-0 to Yoshida. Yoshida will be followed by Nishino. Yoshida now on the series is 4 for 10. He is hitless here tonight. And here comes the offering now from the lefty, Levon Manello. As he kicks and he delivers, it's a fastball swung on. This ball is lined into deep right field. Moving back, and this one's going to be played off the wall. It is fielded by Yanagita. He fires it into second, and holding to a long single is Yoshida. That ball was absolutely missiled off the bat. That ball there is going to be, as it was retrieved off the wall. Nice play by Yanagita to turn and fire it in. John said, I'm not sure if it was about velo or just the ability to serve so many balls. We were talking about the more along the lines of being able to serve as many balls as they can. As I said, if it's 150 balls served, curious to know what that wear and tear would be. What's the difference between that and a pitcher going out and throwing 150 pitches? It's the question that we'll have to get answered. I'm not sure if I have the resources for that, but I'll make a couple of calls. So here comes the first offering to the, and it looks like it's Oda who's now in the pinch hit for Nishino. The first pitch to Oda is a fastball that misses inside, and the count is 1-0, and I can understand why they took Nishino out. Nishino had the double his last time up, but he hadn't had a hit in the series until then. So Oda takes that first pitch for a strike. For 4 balls, check that inside, and it's 1-0. Oda is Ryu Oda. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. He had 101 regular season at bats. He had himself a 196 batting average with a homer and 5 RBIs. So Ryu Oda on to hit for Nishino. So Mainello shakes off his catcher. And now he's ready to go here as he kicks and delivers. It is a breaking ball swung on. It's grounded back to the pitcher. They go to second for 1, but it's dropped by the second baseman, Mamori, and it's not on the transfer, so the Buffaloes have life. Oh boy, that's not been the greatest nights. That ball there, I'm going to look at it, see who they're going to give the error to, but I'm pretty sure it's going to go to the second baseman. That's going to be an E4. That's going to bring up Yataro Sugimoto to the plate, so a potential double play ball gets butchered by the pitcher, by the second baseman who can't catch the ball. We'll watch that replay again. It looked like it was a changeup. I was able to get the hitter out in front. They fired it over to second base. And it was just a flat-out drop by Mamori. It wasn't the best of throws, but it was down around the knees. That ball's got to be had. So now they got the pitching coach out to have a word with Mainello. Try to settle him down a little bit, and that's going to bring Yugitaro Sugimoto up to the plate with 2 on and 1 out. So the tying run is now at home plate. Even Shotgun Shell says about the weight of the ball. Weight of the ball, a baseball is on average about 5.5 ounces. As I say, on average, usually that's within a half ounce of the major league ball is going to be. But I know there's some weighted ball training programs that pitchers will use, some pitchers believe in. If they use the weighted balls, but I've also seen and been in areas where they say some pitchers can throw a heavier weighted ball faster than they can a lighter weighted ball. And some pitchers, they are the opposite. So here comes the first offering to Yugitaro Sugimoto as the lefty Moinello holds set. He checks the runner at second. He kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball that misses down. The count is 1-0. Shotgun Shell says a tennis ball weighs 2 ounces. I'm sure that is also an impact too, where you've got the weight of what you're striking, at least in tennis, lighter versus what you're throwing in baseball. Could be an impact a little bit different. 1-0 to Sugimoto here. The lefty gets his sign from his catcher. And now he's ready to go to work is Moinello. And he kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball that misses inside. And the count is now 2-0 to Sugimoto. Well, Yumatongu waits on deck. This is getting into an interesting piece of the ball game here. We got 1 away, 2 on. Obviously, the tying run at the plate. But Yumatongu can put the ball into the seats as well. So they've got a couple of guys who can swing this a little bit. Mr. Rono says, what a comeback by the Swallows. I haven't checked in on that one. Last time I looked, it was 3-0 for the Tigers, but it's now 5-3 for the Swallows in the bottom of the 7th. Oof. There's a breaking ball that misses upstairs. It's now 3-0 to Sugimoto. Oh boy, Moinello's going to get himself into trouble. Can you imagine a walk-off grand slam? That's where he is headed right now. 3 balls and no strikes to Sugimoto. He walk this hitter, and then he's got to face the hitter Tongu with the bases loaded. So Sugimoto's can be very, very, very picky here on this one. And here comes the pitch. It is a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is now 3-1. Our friend Imanis says a grand slam is like 4 points. Grand slam would be the bases loaded and the hitter that hits it would get you 4 runs. Yep. And here comes the 3-1 pitch. As the lefty kicks and delivers, it's a fastball swung on and missed. Now the count is 3-2 on Sugimoto. So right now the tying run is at the plate in Sugimoto. The runner at second is Yoshida. The runner at first is Oda, as he had reached on the error by the second baseman. And here comes the 3-2 pitch as the lefty checks the runner at second. And now he kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball swung on. It's grounded over to second. They go to second for 1, back to first, and it's in time, a double play. That looks like it's going to do it. I don't know if the Buffaloes are going to go up and review that one, but that is going to be a 4-6-3 double play to end the ball game. And we are going to have another one here for you tomorrow night. That erases Oda at second, and that is going to retire Sugimoto for the third one. So your final score here, everybody, was the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks 3 and the Orix Buffaloes no score. There was no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left the board. Check that, no runners left. Yeah, 1 runner left the board here in the 9th inning We'll come back in 30 seconds and we'll wrap this all up for you, everybody. And then we'll do it all over again tomorrow night. And by the looks of it, it'll be this one because the game at the Jinju, it's 5-3 for the Swallows last time we looked at. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be back in 30. Welcome back, everybody. We are going to wrap this one up here for you. And our friend Shotgun Shell said that the Yankees win today. I didn't look to see the pitching matchups for the Guardians. I think it was Nestor Cortez, if I'm not mistaken, going for the Guardian or for the Yankees, but I didn't see who was going for the Guardians. It might have been Bieber. If it is Bieber, you're going to be in tough to get a victory there. Well, we'll recap this one here. The Hawks got all the scoring. In the first inning, it was a leadoff single by Masaki Momori. And then an error by the first baseman. It was by the pitcher. Taiki Tajima overthrowing the second baseman covering the base. Allowed Momori to score all the way from second base. And they had a 1-0 lead. And after a ground out to the pitcher by Yanagita, it was Alfredo de Spagna who singled home Shuto, and that was the 2-0 lead that they had. Well, they added another run in the seventh inning on a solo shot by Isamu Nomura. Put them ahead 3-0, and that's where the final score ended. There was 3 runs for the Hawks in this one. It was 3-8-0 for Fukuoka, 0-6-1 for Orix. Your final score once again 3-0. All right, everybody. Once again, we'll be back on the airwaves again tomorrow, same time, same place. It is going to be the Hawks and the Buffaloes for the 4th game of this series. It is a 3-1 lead right now for the Buffaloes. So come on back and join us again later. We really appreciate you guys for jumping in here with us. And we appreciate you guys for listening in and giving us your support. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.